On est là. C'est juste que. On va mettre un petit fond d'ambiance d'ailleurs. Là. On est là. C'est juste que. On va mettre un petit fond d'ambiance d'ailleurs. Oh, ici. Alright. On est là. On commence. Je vais juste mettre à jour mes titres. On est là. On commence. Je vais mettre ça sur mute. On fait ça. Pourquoi pas? J'ai confiance en toi. Edit vidéo. Public, oui. Playlist. Tout est beau là. Ça c'est beau. Ça c'est beau. Alright. Tout est chill. On va faire une petite actualisation. Ici c'est tout beau. Ouais. Je pense que ça a fait la job. Ça a pas fait la job. Ok, faut commencer avec ça. Voir si on peut commencer avec ça. Je peux même pas changer mon titre. Hey. Donc, ça va me prendre une pizza. Ouais, je suis presque rendu là. Ouais. Ils ont des bons choix, là. J'ai goût d'une petite pizza. Vous m'excuserez. Ok, ça a fonctionné. Alright. Deuxième changement. On va essayer ça. On va laisser ça aller. Je pense que ça fonctionne, right? Pizzas. Ça a-tu fonctionné? Oui. Et la dernière chose, en français, sauvegarde. Bonjour, bonjour, bonsoir. What is up? Comment chnala? Comme on dit en The Sims. Petit refresh du chat. Et voilà. Je pense qu'on est rendu. On est presque rendu. Donc, tant qu'à ça. Je peux-tu? C'est exactement. Là. Ouais, l'autre réchauffé, je pense que je préférais. Je veux pas de. Épinard feta, ça peut être bon. 12-6 fromages. Alright, let's look at what we got. Bon, je vois même pas les chats en ce moment. My bad. My bad. Ah, did not change. Interesting. Si on commande là. Ouais. Ah, ça vient avec DoorDash? Ça va me donner le prix au moins. Son hot dog. Oh. Nice. Ça a terminé là, je pense. Excuse-moi. Un petit refresh. Hein. Quand même. « 15 et 72. » Bon ben, on va aller chercher ça. On va aller chercher de quoi manger. Caméra, ça a l'air bon. Ouais. Je vais faire ça. On va vous laisser là-dessus pour l'instant. Puis on va revenir même si on n'a rien fait encore. Mais on va faire quelque chose. On va tellement faire quelque chose là, qu'on va regarder et observer ensemble cette belle liste qui se trouve à être le Player's Handbook. Donc, voilà. On va comprendre ça un peu plus en détail, un peu plus tard. Parce que moi, il faut que j'aille me chercher à manger. Excusez-moi. On va faire... ça. Ça. Ici. une exclusivité ce soir. Le contenu Donjon Dragon 5e édition 2024. C'est là que ça se passe. C'est là que ça se passe. Donc, with further ado, let's get ready. Let's get seated, comfortable. Let's see what the future awaits us. Vous excuserez le bruit de background, mais c'est la vie. Alright. On va quand même se prendre quelques notes, je pense. Puis, ça sera ça qui est ça. Tant qu'à être dedans, là, je pense que ça vaut la peine. Ouais, c'est ça, ça peut enregistrer. French. Alright. Alright. On est là. On va sortir nos notes. Google Docs. Alright. Anyways. Ok, ouais, les aventures achetées. Quoi d'autre qu'il y a? Ils en ont un Cobalt Press. Ok. Mais ça, c'est marqué pre-order. Je comprends pas. On y a accès ou il y a pas accès? Ok. Grim Hollow. Oh, nice. Ok, nous on veut... Non, c'est quoi le rapport? Comment ils ont une erreur là même? Ok. Écoute, on va essayer quand même. On a la collection ultime. On va aller voir ce qui se passe là. Featured source. Tout. Bon, tu vois. 2024 handbook. On va y aller de même. Bon, je vais aller chercher un petit breuvage. Je vous reviens tout de suite. On se met confortable quand même. Ok. Peut-être essayer d'aller chercher a couple of audience members dans les groupes. Ça peut rendre la chose un peu plus intéressante, je pense. Je suis pas censé être en live, moi. Ah. Apparemment, je suis pas en live sur mon... Ouais. Attends, ça fonctionne. Ouais. Je suis pas déjà live. Ça, je dis depuis tantôt. C'est tout ce que je fais. On va aller recruter quelques personnes. C'est tout. Alright. Donc, on débute. Est-ce que tu as besoin? Using this. Il y a sûrement ça, je peux pas croire. Tu peux-tu sélectionner avec ça? Ouais, je pense que je vais pogner celle-là. Je vais pogner probablement le meilleur. Right, on va essayer ça. Bon, je vous épargne. Je me joins à Speechify. Speechify. Ok, upgrade to unlock all of these nice perkies. Ok. Ben non, c'est chill. Speechify for Android, for... Ah, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Anyways, let's try it. What you need?
What you need.
Oh, c'est Samuel? Snoop Dogg. Quoi? Ils ont Snoop Dogg, Gwen, whoever this is, Erika. Là, en ce moment, on a John.
What up, though? It's Big Snoop D-O-double G, and I'm an English voice from the United States.
C'est impossible.
Using this book.
Ok. Ok.
Worlds of Adventure.
Expliquez-moi pourquoi. Ok. Écoute, man, Snoop Dogg, fais-moi là. Tiens, lis-moi tout ça.
Chapter 1. Playing the game. Player or DM. Rhythm of play, an ongoing game. Dice to 6 abilities. D20 tests. Proficiency actions. Social...
C'est fort un peu. On va juste... Peux-tu contrôler le volume? Where's the volume, my guy? Ça doit être le volume de mon... Je sais pas si ça va fonctionner. Ah, shit. Oh, je peux baisser ça à 50, moi. Ah, tu peux résumer, mon champion?
Chapter 1. Playing the game. Player or DM. Rhythm of play, an ongoing game. Dice to 6 abilities. D20 tests. Proficiency actions. Social interaction. Exploration. Combat damage. And healing conditions. Chapter 2. Creating a character. Get ready. Create your character. Step 1. Choose a class. Step 2. Determine origin. Step 3. Determine ability score. Step 4. Choose an alignment. Step 5. Fill in details. Level advancement starting at higher levels. Multi-classing trinkets. Chapter 3. Character classes. Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. Chapter 4. Character origins. Origin components, background descriptions, species descriptions. Chapter 5. Feats. Feat descriptions, origin feats, general feats, fighting style feats, epic boom feats. Chapter 6. Equipment. Coins, weapons, mastery, properties, armor, tools, adventuring gear, mounts and vehicles, services, magic items, crafting equipment. Chapter 7. Spells. Gaining spells, casting spells. Spell descriptions. Appendix A. The multiverse. The material realms, transitive planes, the inner planes, the outer planes. Appendix B. Creature stat blocks. Rules glossary. Glossary conventions, rules definitions. Credits. Download character sheet.
Assez standard. Il semble avoir revisité le... comment dire? L'ordre des choses. C'est pas une mauvaise chose.
Rules glossary. Glossary conventions. Ability check, ability score, and modifier action. Attack action, dash action, disengage action, dodge action, help action, hide action, influence action, magic action, ready action, search action, study action, utilize action. Advantage, adventure, alignment, ally, area of effect. Cone, area of effect, cube, area of effect, cylinder, area of effect, emanation, area of effect, line, area of effect, sphere, area of effect. Armor class, armor training, attack, roll attitude. Friendly attitude, hostile attitude, indifferent attitude. Attunement, blind sight, bloody, bonus action, breaking objects, bright light, burrow, speed, campaign, cantrip, carrying capacity, challenge, rating, character sheet, climbing, concentration condition. Blinded condition, charm condition, deafened condition, exhaustion condition, frightened condition, grappled condition, incapacitated condition, invisible condition, paralyzed condition, petrified condition, poison condition, prone condition, restrained condition, stunned condition, unconscious condition. Cover, crawling creature, creature type, critical hit, curses, D20 test, damage, threshold damage, types, darkness, dark vision, dead, death, saving throw, difficult terrain, difficulty, class, dim light, disadvantage, encounter, enemy, experience points, expertise, flying, grappling hazard. Burning hazard, dehydration hazard, falling hazard, malnutrition hazard, suffocation hazard. Healing heavily obscured, heroic inspiration, hit point, dice, hit points, hover, illusions, immunity, improvised weapons, initiative jumping. High jump, long jump. Knocking out a creature, lightly obscured, long rest, magical effect, monster, non-player character, object, occupies space, opportunity attacks, passive perception per day, player character, possession, proficiency, reaction, resistance, ritual, round down, saving, throw, shape, shifting, short rest, simultaneous effects, size, skill, speed, spell attack, spellcasting, focus, stable, stat, block, surprise, swimming, target, telepathy, teleportation. Temporary hit points, tremor, sense, true sight, unarmed, strike, unoccupied, space, vulnerability, weapon, attack. Start a free trial subscription and get access to your pre-order of the 2024 Digital Player's Handbook now. Introduction. Welcome to Adventure. This story began 50 years ago, and you're part of it. In the 1970 seconds, Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson created a game of make-believe that fused rules with storytelling. There'd never been anything like it. A game in which each player made their own fantasy character and teamed up with their friends to go on quests. One person served as the narrator and referee, the Dungeon Master, and did everything they could to challenge and delight the other players. That game was, of course, the first version of Dungeons and Dragons, and you're now reading its latest version. Over the decades, millions of people have played D&D, and scores of writers, game designers, and artists have made their mark on it through its various editions. When our team released the current edition in 2014, we were humbled by how many of you loved it. This revised version of it is a salute to all of you. Those of you who have been playing D&D for years, those of you who have contributed to the game through your feedback, and those of you who are about to experience the joy of playing it for the first time. As a teenager, I met both Gary and Dave. I even spent an entire day with Gary, and we did what all D&D fans do: share stories about our adventures in the D&D multiverse. I invite you to embark on such adventures anew. Share as much laughter as you can with your friends. Use only the rules that serve your fun, and always follow your group's bliss. So many people have been enjoying the magic of D&D for half a century. Let's keep it blazing for another 50 years. Jeremy Crawford, are you ready to embark on fantasy adventures with your friends? Dungeons & Dragons invites you to play imaginary adventurers who delve into dungeons and other perilous locations together. Face fearsome foes such as dragons, and build friendships forged amid fantastical dangers. Fueled by imagination and rules, D&D invites you to adopt a fantasy persona: a mighty fighter, a cunning rogue, a faithful cleric, a magical wizard, or something else, and then solve problems, fight monsters, and visit wondrous places. There's no winning and losing in D&D, at least not the way those terms are usually understood. Together you and friends create an exciting story of adventurers who confront perils. Sometimes an adventurer might come to a tragic end. Even so, the other adventurers can search for powerful magic to revive their fallen comrade, or the character's player might create a new character to carry on. No matter what happens, if everyone has a good time and creates a memorable story, they all win. Here's what you need to play D&D with one or more friends. A typical group has 5 people. Dungeon Master. One person takes on the role of the Dungeon Master DM, the game's lead storyteller and referee. The DM creates adventures for the player's characters, who navigate its hazards and decide which paths to explore. The DM also narrates what they experience and plays the friends and foes they meet along the way. Even though the DM challenges the adventurers, the DM always strives to delight the whole group. Players. Each player creates an adventurer who teams up with the other players' adventurers. Working together, the group might explore a dark dungeon, a ruined city, a haunted castle, a lost temple, a lava-filled mountain, or another location described by the DM. The adventurers also solve puzzles, talk with other characters, battle fantastic monsters, and discover magic items and other treasure, all while supporting each other's fun. Learn by watching. A great way to learn the basics of D&D is to watch people play it. The internet offers videos of D&D play that show off the tremendous range of possibilities the game offers. As you watch, pay attention to the ways that some players help make the game fun for everyone in their group. The only audience you need to entertain when you're playing D&D is yourself and your group. You also need these resources, either in physical form or on D&D Beyond. Player's Handbook. This book is your essential reference for the game's rules, and it guides you through making an adventure of your own. Dungeon Master's Guide and Monster Manual. The first of these books guides the DM through creating and running adventures, and the second holds hundreds of monsters to fill those adventures. Dice. You need a set of polyhedral dice shown in Chapter 1. You can find dice like these in game stores and from online retailers. Dice rolling apps are also available. Character Sheet. To keep track of important information about your character, you need a character sheet, which can be as simple as a piece of paper you write notes on or as feature-rich as a digital record. The DM might also find these accessories useful. DM Screen. Many DMs like to use a screen to shield their notes and dice rolls from players. It's bad manners to peek over the screen. Miniatures and Battle Grid. Some DMs use a battle grid and miniatures to run combat encounters, since they help everyone visualize the action. A battle grid can be anything marked out in 1-inch squares, from disposable sheets of paper to poster maps, and miniatures range from simple tokens to detailed figurines. Online maps and miniatures are also available, including on D&D Beyond. Using this book. Here's what you'll find in this book. Chapter 1. Playing the game. The first chapter explains the fundamentals of the game, with examples to help you understand how to play. Chapter 2. Creating a character. Chapter 2 walks you through the steps of character creation. Chapter 3. Character classes. Characters' capabilities are largely determined by class, such as fighter or wizard. Chapter 3 offers 12 classes to choose from, along with 48 subclasses. Chapter 4. Character origins. Background and species are key elements in defining a character's origin, which further shapes the character's abilities beyond the choice of class. Background and species options are presented.
Hey, Speechify here. You've exceeded your HD word limit. In order to continue enjoying your experience with high-quality voices, please upgrade your subscription by clicking the upgrade button. If you're not ready to
On va vous
upgrade,
épargner ça. On s'entend que c'est pas tout à fait la même chose. On s'entend que c'est pas tout à fait la même chose. Ouais. C'est pas donné. Ouais. Je le fais-tu? Un petit impasse? Not exactly. Can you describe what is included in the said trial? Bon, mais on va payer le 3-day trial, là. Qu'est-ce que je te dis? Ça, c'est Speechify. Ok. Si je vois là. Le 17. Fait qu'ici. Event. Unsubscribe. Je me mets des notifications pour cette affaire-là parce que c'est facile à oublier. Speechify. Excellent. On va pouvoir continuer avec The irony of having Snoop Dogg saying this is what players do, talking about D&D, is just beautiful. Bonjour, bonjour. What's up, people? I'm just having Snoop Dogg read to me the new D&D handbook. You know how it is. So c'est ça.
Or fighting a dragon. In certain
Hey,
situations,
I'm sorry,
particularly
guys.
combat, the action is more structured and everyone takes turns. Exceptions supersede general rules. General rules govern each part of the game. For example, the combat rules tell you that melee attacks use strength and ranged attacks use dexterity. That's a general rule, and a general rule is in effect as long as something in the game doesn't explicitly say otherwise. The game also includes elements, class features, feats, weapon properties, spells, magic items, monster abilities, and the like that sometimes contradict a general rule. When an exception and a general rule disagree, the exception wins. For example, if a feature says you can make melee attacks using your charisma, you can do so, even though that statement disagrees with the general rule. An ongoing game. Sometimes a session of D&D is a complete game in itself, often called a one-shot, where you play a short adventure that lasts for just one session. More often, though, D&D sessions are connected in a longer adventure that takes several sessions to complete, and adventures can be strung together into a larger narrative called a campaign. A campaign is like a TV series, while an adventure is like a season of the series, and a game session is like a single episode. It might be self-contained, but it usually links to the larger plot if there is one. Adventures. An adventure might be created by the dungeon master or purchased. The examples of play in this chapter are inspired by a published adventure, Curse of Strahd. In either case, an adventure features a fantastic setting, such as an underground dungeon, a wondrous wilderness, or a magic-filled city. It includes a cast of non-player characters controlled by the DM. Often one of the NPCs is a villain whose agenda drives much of an adventure's action. During an adventure, the adventurers explore environments, events, and creatures presented by the DM. Battles, traps, negotiations, mysteries, and more arise during these explorations. Adventures vary in length and complexity. A short adventure might present only a few challenges and take only one session to complete. A long adventure might involve many combats, interactions, and other challenges and take dozens of sessions. Campaigns. A campaign is a series of adventures with a consistent group of adventurers following the narrative. Some campaigns are episodic, where each adventure is its own tale and not much besides the player characters links it to the next one. Other campaigns involve long-running plots, a cast of recurring NPCs, and themes that span multiple adventures, leading toward a climactic conclusion. As with adventures, a DM might create a campaign from scratch, assemble a campaign from published adventures, or mix homemade material with published material. And the campaign might take place in a world of the DM's creation or in a published campaign setting, such as the Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk. The latter is described in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Dice add randomness to the game. They help determine whether characters and monsters are successful at the things they attempt. Alejandro Pacheco. From left to right, D4, D6, date, D10 ones digit, D10 tens digit, D12, D20. Round down whenever you divide or multiply a number in the game. Round down if you end up with a fraction, even if the fraction is 1/2 or greater. Some rules make an exception and tell you to round up. Dice notation. The dice used in D&D are referred to by the letter D followed by the die's number of sides, D4, D6, date, D10, D12, and D20. For instance, a D6 is a 6-sided die, the cube that many games use. The illustration on this page.
We have to note that compared to the previous version, this, excusez, en française, contrairement à la 5e édition régulière, c'est beaucoup plus user-friendly. Comme les explications sont vraiment claires sur qu'est-ce qui est quoi, même si c'est pas tout à fait pratique de savoir ça d'avance, là. C'est quand même intéressant. Mais c'est pas là que je mettrais les dés personnellement. Ça sert à rien de savoir ça. Anyways.
Page shows what each die looks like. When you need to roll dice, the rules tell you how many dice to roll of a certain type, along with any numbers to add or subtract. For example, 3D plus 5 means you roll 3 8-sided dice, add them together, and add 5 to the total. Percentile dice. The rules sometimes refer to a done 100. While such dice exist, the common way to roll 1 on 0 uses a pair of 10-sided dice numbered from 0 to 9, known as percentile dice. One die that you designate before rolling gives the tens digit, and the other gives the ones digit. If you roll a 7 for the tens digit and a 1 for the ones digit, for example, the number rolled is 71. 2 0 seconds represent 100. Some 10-sided dice are numbered in 10, 0, 10, 20, and so on, making it easier to distinguish the tens digit from the ones digit. In this case, a roll of 70 and 1 is 71, and 0 is 100. D3. The same denotation appears in the expression 1-3, even though it's rare to find dice with only 3 sides. 1-3. Roll 1-6 and divide the
Ça
number
vaut
rolled
vraiment
by
pas
2
la peine
round-ups.
d'expliquer
What
des
are
à ce
dice for?
stade-ci, pour être
Here are
bien
the
honnête.
most
Là.
common uses of dice in D&D.
Comme...
D20 test. The 20-sided die D20 is the most important die
pas la
you use in the
pertinence,
game.
là.
It's central to the core mechanic, called D20 tests. The game uses to determine whether creatures succeed or fail at the things they attempt during the game. See D20 tests later in this chapter. You roll a D20 whenever your character tries to do something that the DM decides has a chance of both success and failure. The higher you roll, the more likely it is that you succeed. Damage. The most common use for dice other than the D20 is to determine damage. When you make a successful attack, roll one kind of D20 test. You roll damage to see how effective the attack is. When you cast
Encore
a
une
spell,
fois,
you might also roll damage.
Tu sais, je comprends que c'est fait pour les gens qui n'ont jamais joué, mais c'est trop d'informations. C'est pas pertinent de commencer de cette manière-là pour apprendre le jeu. Normalement, tu apprends avec la création de personnages. Tu apprends ce que tu as besoin de savoir sur la création de personnages, puis après ça, quand tu commences à jouer, là, ton maître de jeu, il t'explique tes dés, à quoi ça sert. Mais pour l'instant, le savoir d'avance, ça va pas t'aider à savoir comment jouer. En tout cas, c'est dans mes C'est dans mes... Ouais. Excusez, c'était peut-être un peu fort. Dans la manière que je vois les choses.
Equal to or less than the percentage chance of 1 to 5. In this example, it happens. Interpreting die rolls in the story part of the fun of D&D is interpreting what die rolls mean in the story. The randomness that dice bring often introduces the unexpected. An expert fails, a novice succeeds, or any number of other twists. When a D20 test or another roll produces a surprise, the dungeon master often gives a fun description of what happened. If you're a player, look for opportunities to interpret your character's die rolls and describe why things are.
If you a player, j'aime ça.
All creatures, characters, and monsters have 6 abilities that measure physical and mental characteristics, as shown on the ability descriptions table. Ability descriptions, ability score measures, strength, physical might, dexterity, agility, reflexes, and balance, constitution, health, and stamina, intelligence, reasoning, and memory, wisdom, perceptiveness, and mental fortitude, charisma, confidence, poise, and charm. Ability scores. Each ability has a score from 1 to 20. Although some monsters have a score as high as 30, the score represents the magnitude of an ability. The ability scores table summarizes what the scores mean. Ability scores. Score meaning, 1, this is the lowest the score can normally go. If an effect reduces a score to 0, that effect explains what happens. 2, 9, this represents a weak capability. 10, 11, this represents the human average. 12, 19, this represents a strong capability. 20, this is the highest an adventurer's score can go unless a feature says otherwise. 21, 29, this represents an extraordinary capability. 30, this is the highest a score can go. Ability modifiers. Each ability has a modifier that you apply whenever you make a D20 test with that ability explained in D20 tests. An ability modifier is derived from its score, as shown in the ability modifiers table. Ability modifiers. Score modifier. 1, 5, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 3, 6, 7, 2, 8, 9, 1, 10, 11 plus 0, 12, 13 plus 1, 14, 15 plus 2, 16, 17 plus 3, 18, 19 plus 4, 20, 21 plus 5, 22, 23 plus 6, 24, 25 plus 7, 26, 27 plus 8, 28, 29 plus 9, 30 plus 10, D20 tests. When the outcome of an action is uncertain, the game uses a D20 roll to determine success or failure. These rolls are called D20 tests, and they come in 3 kinds: ability checks, saving throws, and attack rolls. They follow these steps. Roll 120. You always want to roll high. If the roll has advantage or disadvantage described later in this chapter, you roll 2 D20s, but you use the number from only one of them. The higher one if you have advantage, or the lower one if you have disadvantage. Add modifiers. Add these modifiers to the number rolled on the D20. The relevant ability modifier. This chapter and the rules glossary explain which ability modifiers to use for various D20 tests. Your proficiency bonus if relevant. Each creature has a proficiency bonus, a number added when making a D20 test that uses something, such as a skill, in which the creature has proficiency. See proficiency later in this chapter. Circumstantial bonuses and penalties. A class feature, a spell, or another rule might give a bonus or penalty to the die roll. Compare the total to a total.
See, that's why I don't think it's worth... excusez, je pense pas que ça vaut la peine d'expliquer ces choses-là quand t'as même pas encore commencé à jouer le jeu.
The dungeon master determines target numbers and tells players whether their rolls are successful. The target number for an ability check or a saving throw is called a difficulty class DC. The target number for an attack roll is called an armor class AC, which appears on a character sheet or in a stat block. See the rules glossary. John Rello.
Genre, moi, je mettrais ça, là, juste avant la section des combats. Right? Genre chapitre 8, comme qu'il l'avait avant, là.
Using talent and training to try to overcome a challenge, such as forcing open a step door, picking a lock, entertaining a crowd, or deciphering a cipher. The DM and the rules often call for an ability check when a creature attempts something other than an attack that has a chance of meaningful failure. When the outcome is uncertain and narratively interesting, the dice determine the result. Ability modifier. An ability check is named for the ability modifier it uses. A strength check, an intelligence check, and so on. Different ability checks are called for in different situations, depending on which ability is most relevant. See the ability check examples table for examples of each check's use. Ability check examples. Ability make a check to. Strength lift, push, pull or break something. Dexterity, move nimbly, quickly, or quietly. Constitution, push your body beyond normal limits. Intelligence, reason or remember. Wisdom, notice things in the environment or in creatures' behavior. Charisma, influence, entertain, or deceive. Proficiency bonus. Add your proficiency bonus to an ability check when the DM determines that a skill or tool proficiency is relevant to the check and you have that proficiency. For example, if a rule refers to a strength, acrobatics, or athletics check, you can add your proficiency bonus to the check if you have proficiency in the acrobatics or athletics skill. See proficiency later in this chapter for more information about skill and tool proficiencies. Difficulty class. The difficulty class of an ability check represents the task's difficulty. The more difficult the task, the higher its DC. The rules provide DCs for certain checks, but the DM ultimately sets them. The typical difficulty class' table presents a range of possible DCs for ability checks. Typical difficulty classes. Task difficulty DC. Very easy 5, easy 10, medium 15, hard 20, very hard 25, nearly impossible 30. Saving throws. A saving throw, also called a save, represents an attempt to evade or resist a threat, such as a fiery explosion, a blast of poisonous gas, or a spell trying to invade your mind. You don't normally choose to make a save. You must make one because your character or a monster, if you're the DM, is at risk. A save's result is detailed in the effect that caused it. If you don't want to resist the effect, you can choose to fail the save without rolling. Ability modifier. Saving throws are named for the ability modifiers they use: a Constitution saving throw, a Wisdom saving throw, and so on. Different saving throws are used to resist different kinds of effects, as shown on the saving throw examples table. Saving throw examples. Ability, make a save to. Strength, physically resist direct force. Dexterity, dodge out of harm's way. Constitution, endure a toxic hazard. Intelligence, recognize an illusion as fate. Wisdom, resist a mental assault. Charisma, assert your identity. Proficiency bonus. You add your proficiency bonus to your saving throw if you have proficiency in that kind of save. See proficiency later in this chapter. Difficulty class. The difficulty class for a saving throw is determined by the effect that causes it or by the DM. For example, if a spell forces you to make a save, the DC is determined by the caster's spellcasting ability and proficiency bonus. Monster abilities that call for saves specify the DC. Attack rolls. An attack roll determines whether an attack hits a target. An attack roll hits if the roll equals or exceeds the target's armor class. Attack rolls usually occur in battle, described in combat later in this chapter, but the DM might also ask for an attack roll in other situations, such as an archery competition. Ability modifier. The attack roll abilities table shows which ability modifier to use for different types of attack rolls. Attack roll abilities. Ability attack type. Strength, melee attack with a weapon or an unarmed strike, see the rules glossary. Dexterity, range attack with a weapon. Very spell attack. The ability used is determined by the spellcaster's spellcasting feature, as explained in chapter 7. Some features let you use different ability modifiers from those listed. For example, the finesse property, see chapter 6, lets you use strength or dexterity with a weapon that has that property. Proficiency bonus. You add your proficiency bonus to your attack roll when you attack using a weapon you have proficiency with, as well as when you attack with a spell. See proficiency later in this chapter for more information about weapon proficiencies. Armor class. A creature's armor class represents how well the creature avoids being wounded in combat. The AC of a character is determined at character creation, see chapter 2, whereas the AC of a monster appears in its stat block. Calculating AC. All creatures start with the same base AC calculation. Base AC equals 10 plus the creature's dexterity modifier. A creature's AC can then be modified by armor, magic items, spells, and more. Only one base AC. Some spells and class features give characters a different way to calculate their AC. A character with multiple features that give different ways to calculate AC must choose which one to use. Only one base calculation can be in effect for a creature. Rolling 20 or 1. If you roll a 20 on the d20 called a natural 20 for an attack roll, the attack hits regardless of any modifiers or the target's AC. This is called a critical hit, see combat later in this chapter. If you roll a 1 on the d20, a natural 1 for an attack roll, the attack misses regardless of any modifiers or the target's AC. Advantage/disadvantage. Alejandro Pacheco. If you have advantage, use the 18. If you have disadvantage, use the 3. Sometimes a d20 test is modified by advantage or disadvantage. Advantage reflects the positive circumstances surrounding a d20 roll, while disadvantage reflects negative circumstances. You usually acquire advantage or disadvantage through the use of special abilities and actions. The DM can also decide that circumstances grant advantage or impose disadvantage. Roll 2 d20s. When a roll has either advantage or disadvantage, roll a second d20 when you make the roll. Use the higher of the two rolls if you have advantage, and use the lower roll if you have disadvantage. For example, if you have disadvantage and roll an 18 and a 3, use the 3. If you instead have advantage and roll those numbers, use the 18. They don't stack. If multiple situations affect a roll and they all grant advantage on it, you still roll only 2 d20s. Similarly, if multiple situations impose disadvantage on a roll, you roll only 2 d20s. If circumstances cause a roll to have both advantage and disadvantage, the roll has neither of them and you roll 1 d20. This is true even if multiple circumstances impose disadvantage and only one grants advantage or vice versa. In such a situation, you have neither advantage nor disadvantage. Interactions with rerolls. When you have advantage or disadvantage and something in the game lets you reroll or replace the d20, you can reroll or replace only one die, not both. You choose which one. For example, if you have heroic inspiration, see the sidebar and roll a 3 and an 18 on an ability check that has advantage or disadvantage, you could expend your heroic inspiration to reroll one of those dice, not both of them. Heroic inspiration, sometimes the DM or a rule gives you heroic inspiration. If you have heroic inspiration, you can expend it to reroll any die immediately after rolling it, and you must use the new roll, only one at a time. You can never have more than one instance of heroic inspiration. If something gives you heroic inspiration and you already have it, you can give it to a player character in your group who lacks it. Gaining heroic inspiration. Your DM can give you heroic inspiration for a variety of reasons. Typically, DMs award it when you do something particularly heroic, in character, or entertaining. It's a reward for making the game more fun for everyone playing. Other rules might allow your character to gain heroic inspiration independent of the DM's decision. For example, human characters start each day with heroic inspiration. Proficiency. Characters and monsters are good at various things. Some are skilled with many weapons, while others can use only a few. Some are better at understanding people's motives, and others are better at unlocking the secrets of the multiverse. All creatures have a proficiency bonus, which reflects the impact that training has on the creature's capabilities. A character's proficiency bonus increases as the character gains levels described in Chapter 2. A monster's proficiency bonus is based on its challenge rating. See the rules glossary. The proficiency bonus table shows how the bonus is determined. This bonus is applied to a d20 test when the creature has proficiency in a skill, in a saving throw, or with an item that the creature uses to make the d20 test. The bonus is also used for spell attacks and for calculating the DC of saving throws for spells. Proficiency bonus, level or CR bonus, up to 4 plus 2, 5, 8 plus 3, 9, 12 plus 4, 13, 16 plus 5, 17, 20 plus 6, 21, 24 plus 7, 25, 28 plus 8, 29, 30 plus 9. The bonus doesn't stack. Your proficiency bonus can't be added to a die roll or another number more than once. For example, if a roll allows you to make a charisma, deception, or persuasion check, you add your proficiency bonus if you're proficient in either skill, but you don't add it twice if you're proficient in both skills. Occasionally, a proficiency bonus might be multiplied or divided, doubled, or halved, for example, before being added. For example, the expertise feature, see the rules glossary, doubles the proficiency bonus for certain ability checks. Whenever the bonus is used, it can be multiplied only once and divided only once. Skill proficiencies. Most ability checks involve using a skill, which represents a category of things creatures try to do with an ability check. The descriptions of the actions you take, see actions later in this chapter, specify which skill applies if you make an ability check for that action, and many other rules note when a skill is relevant. The DM has the ultimate say on whether a skill is relevant in a situation. If a creature is proficient in a skill, the creature applies its proficiency bonus to ability checks involving that skill. Without proficiency in a skill, a creature can still make ability checks involving that skill but doesn't add its proficiency bonus. For example, if a character tries to climb a cliff, the DM might ask for a strength athletics check. If the character has athletics proficiency, the character adds their proficiency bonus to the strength check. If the character lacks that proficiency, they make the check without adding their proficiency bonus. Skill list. The skills are shown on the skills table, which notes example uses for each skill proficiency as well as the ability check the skill most often applies to. Skills. Skill ability example uses. Acrobatics, dexterity, stay on your feet in a tricky situation, or perform an acrobatic stunt. animal handling, wisdom, calm, or train an animal, or get an animal to behave in a certain way. Arcana, intelligence, recall lore about spells, magic items, and the planes of existence. Athletic, strength, jump farther than normal, stay afloat in rough water, or break something. Deception, charisma, tell a convincing lie, or wear a disguise convincingly. History, intelligence, recall lore about historical events, people, nations, and cultures. Insight, wisdom, discern a person's mood and intentions. Intimidation, charisma, awe or threaten someone into doing what you want. Investigation, intelligence, find obscure information in books, or deduce how something works. Medicine, wisdom, diagnose an illness, or determine what killed the recently slain. Nature, intelligence, recall lore about terrain, plants, animals, and weather. Perception, wisdom, using a combination of senses. Notice something that's easy to miss. Performance, charisma, act, tell a story, perform music, or dance. Persuasion, charisma, honestly and graciously convince someone of something. Religion, intelligence, recall lore about gods, religious rituals, and holy symbols. Sleight of hand, dexterity, pick a pocket, conceal a handheld object, or perform legerdemain. Stealth, dexterity, escape notice by moving quietly and hiding behind things. Survival, wisdom, follow tracks, forage, find a trail, or avoid natural hazards. Determining skills. A character's starting skill proficiencies are determined at character creation, and a monster's skill proficiencies appear in its stat block. Skills with different abilities, each skill proficiency is associated with an ability check. For example, the intimidation skill is associated with charisma. In some situations, the DM might allow you to apply your skill proficiency to a different ability check. For example, if a character tries to intimidate someone through a show of physical strength, the DM might ask for a strength intimidation check rather than a charisma intimidation check. That character would make a strength check and add their proficiency bonus if they have intimidation proficiency. Saving throw proficiencies. Proficiency in a saving throw lets a character add their proficiency bonus to saves that use a particular ability. For example, proficiency in wisdom saves lets you add your proficiency bonus to your wisdom saves. Some monsters also have saving throw proficiencies, as noted in their stat blocks. Each class gives proficiency in at least 2 saving throws, representing that class's training in evading or resisting certain threats. Wizards, for example, are proficient in intelligence and wisdom saves. They train to resist mental assault. Equipment proficiencies. A character gains proficiency with various weapons and tools from their class and background. There are 2 categories of equipment proficiency. Weapons. Anyone can wield a weapon, but proficiency makes you better at wielding it. If you have proficiency with a weapon, you add your proficiency bonus to attack rolls you make with it. Tools. If you have proficiency with a tool, you can add your proficiency bonus to any ability check you make that uses the tool. If you have proficiency in the skill that's also used with that check, you have advantage on the check too. This means you can benefit from both skill proficiency and tool proficiency on the same ability check. Actions. When you do something other than moving or communicating, you typically take an action. The action table lists the game's main actions, which are defined in more detail in the rules glossary. Actions. Action summary. Attack with a weapon or an unarmed strike. Dash for the rest of the turn. Give yourself extra movement equal to your speed. Disengage, your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attack for the rest of the turn. Dodge until the start of your next turn. Attack rolls against you have disadvantage, and you make dexterity saving throws with advantage. You lose this benefit if you have the incapacitated condition or if your speed is 0. Help another creature's ability check or attack roll, or administer first aid. Hide, make a dexterity stealth check. Influence, make a charisma, deception, intimidation, performance, or persuasion or wisdom animal handling check to alter a creature's attitude. Magic, cast a spell, use a magic item, or use a magical feature. Ready, prepare to take an action in response to a trigger you
j'aurais
define.
pensé
Search, make a wisdom.
qu'ici, on aurait mis l'information par rapport au multiclassement. Quand tu es multiclassé, tu peux pas avoir avantage dans 4 habilités différentes. Comme tes sauvegardes habituelles. Mais ils en ont pas parlé. Intéressant.
Insight, medicine, perception, or survival check. Study, make an intelligence arcana, history, investigation, nature, or religion check. Utilize use of non-magical object. Player characters and monsters can also do things not covered by these actions. Many class features and other abilities provide additional action options, and you can improvise other actions. When you describe an action not detailed elsewhere in the rules, the Dungeon Master tells you whether that action is possible and what kind of D20 test you need to make, if any. One thing at a time. The game uses actions to govern how much you can do at one time. You can take only one action at a time. This principle is most important in combat, as explained in combat later in this chapter. Actions can come up in other situations, too. In a social interaction, you can try to influence a creature or use the search action to read the creature's body language, but you can't do both at the same time. And when you're exploring a dungeon, you can simultaneously use the search action to look for traps and use the help action to aid another character who's trying to open a step door with the utilized action. Bonus actions. Various class features, spells, and other abilities let you take an additional action on your turn called a bonus action. The cunning action feature, for example, allows a rogue to take a bonus action. You can take a bonus action only when a special ability, a spell, or another feature of the game states that you can do something as a bonus action. You otherwise don't have a bonus action to take. You can take only one bonus action on your turn, so you must choose which bonus action to use if you have more than one available. You choose when to take a bonus action during your turn unless the bonus action's timing is specified. Anything that deprives you of your ability to take actions also prevents you from taking a bonus action. Reactions. Certain special abilities, spells, and situations allow you to take a special action called a reaction. A reaction is an instant response to a trigger of some kind, which can occur on your turn or on someone else's. The opportunity attack, described later in this chapter, is the most common type of reaction. When you take a reaction, you can't take another one until the start of your next turn. If the reaction interrupts another creature's turn, that creature can continue its turn right after the reaction. In terms of timing, a reaction takes place immediately after its trigger unless the reaction's description says otherwise. What would your character do? Ask yourself as you play, what would my character do? Playing a role involves some amount of getting into another person's head and understanding what motivates them and how those motivations translate into action. In D&D, those actions unfold against the backdrop of a fantastic world full of situations we can only imagine. How does your character react to those situations? This advice comes with one important caveat. Avoid character choices that ruin the fun of the other players and the DM. Choose actions that delight you and your friends. Social interaction. Lend a light. Characters lay on the charm while bartering for magic items with a green hat. During their adventures, player characters meet many different people and face some monsters that would rather talk than fight. In those situations, it's time for social interaction, which takes many forms. For example, you might try to convince a burglar to confess to wrongdoing or try to flatter a guard. The dungeon master assumes the roles of any non-player characters who are participating. An NPC's attitude towards your character is friendly, indifferent, or hostile, as defined in the rules glossary. Friendly NPCs are predisposed to help, and hostile ones are inclined to hinder. Social interactions progress in two ways, through role-playing and ability checks. Role-playing. Role-playing is, literally, the act of playing out a role. In this case, it's you as a player determining how your character thinks, acts, and talks. Role-playing is part of every aspect of the game, and it comes to the fore during social interactions. As you role-play, consider whether you prefer an active approach or a descriptive approach, each of which is described in social interaction example. The DM uses an NPC's personality and your character's actions and attitudes to determine how an NPC reacts. A cowardly bandit might buckle under threats of imprisonment. A stubborn merchant refuses to help if the characters badger her. A vain dragon laps up flattery. When interacting with an NPC, pay attention to the DM's portrayal of the NPC's personality. You might be able to learn an NPC's goals and then use that information to influence the NPC. If you offer NPCs something they want to play on their sympathies, fears, or goals, you can form friendships, ward off violence, or learn a key piece of information. On the other hand, if you insult a proud warrior or speak ill of a noble's allies, your efforts to convince or deceive will likely fail. Ability checks. Ability checks can be key in determining the outcome of a social interaction. Your role-playing efforts can alter an NPC's attitude, but there might still be an element of chance if the DM wants dice to play a role in determining an NPC's response to you. In such situations, the DM will typically ask you to take the influence action. Pay attention to your skill proficiencies when thinking of how you will interact with an NPC. Use an approach that relies on your group's skill proficiencies. For example, if the group needs to trick a guard into letting them into a castle, the rogue who is proficient in deception should lead the discussion. Social interaction example. John Grello. In this scene, players engage in a social interaction encounter. You and your group determine how similar scenes play out in your adventure.
Je vois pas la pertinence de tout de suite parler de comment...
have traveled to the Blood on the Vine Tavern in the grim village of Garovia. Jared is DM, This tavern might have been finely appointed once, but it has grown shoddy with the past.
C'est moi où, comme, l'information qui est partagée n'est pas dans l'ordre qu'elle devrait être partagée. Et on nous a promis, pis ça c'est parce que je veux vraiment pas aimer le fait qu'ils ont fait un nouveau 2024, mais Loki, je comprends ce qu'ils ont fait, il n'y a pas de problème. L'enjeu numéro 1, c'est c'est pas vraiment une grosse affaire, mais consistance avec la non-explication des non, c'est pas ça. L'ordre des informations. Continuons.
Passage of years, a blazing fire in the hearth barely gives any warmth to the room. You see a man behind the counter, methodically cleaning glasses. 3 older women huddled together at one table, and a handsome young man sits by himself at a corner table, sipping a glass of wine. He looks up as you enter, but the other people ignore you. Welcome to Barovia, he says. He holds a coin toward the bartender, a pitcher for the visitors. The glint of silver catches the server's attention. Mavis Murray Bella, thank you, Fran. May we know to whom we're indebted. Jared, I'm Ismark Kalinovich, though around here, I'm often called Ismark the Lesser. Russell is Shreve. That's unfortunate. Jared, indeed. I hope one day to live up to my father's example and rid myself of that title. And so, my new friends, who are you? Amy is Oral. I'm Oral. Russell, Shreve. Philip is Gareth. My name is Gareth. Mavis Murray Bella. I'm called Murray Bella. You said your name was Kalinovich. Are you related to Colin and Durovich, the burgomaster of this town? Jared, he looks a little surprised. He says, Colin and Durovich is my esteemed father. Yes. Active role-playing. Notice throughout the example how Russell and Amy actively role-play their characters' behavior. In this active approach, they speak with their characters' voices, like an actor taking on a role. The players might even echo their characters' body language. They still need to describe things that can't reasonably be acted out. Descriptive role-playing. Notice how Philip describes his character's words and action, drawing on his mental image of his character. He says what his character does and how the character does it. If this approach is most comfortable for you, keep these things in mind. Describe your character's emotions and attitude. Focus on your character's intent and how others might perceive it. Provide as much embellishment as you feel comfortable with. Don't worry about getting things exactly right. Focus on what your character would do and describe what you see in your mind. Maeve. Then he's the one who summoned us. I show him the letter that drew us here. Philip. I watch his reaction as he reads it. One Jared. He reaches for the letter but pulls back before touching it. That seal. It's not my father's. Gareth. Make a wisdom insight check. Philip. Gareth got 18. Jared. You notice that Ismark is trying to conceal his terror. He's afraid to even touch the letter seal. Philip. I ask him what's frightening him. 1 ability checks. Philip's character, Gareth, makes a wisdom insight check to determine whether he reads Ismark's unspoken cues. Wisdom is the ability that measures perceptiveness and intuition. Insight reflects a character's skill at reading other people's moves and intentions. The DM set the DC at 15, which Gareth beats. With a successful wisdom insight check, Gareth gleans information that wasn't obvious, so it wasn't part of the DM's earlier narration. For more information, see ability scores and proficiency earlier in this chapter and the search action in the rules glossary. Russell. Yeah? Lucille is it? Jared. The devil's straw. Amy. Sounds like a pleasant fellow. Jared. No. He is the vampire lord of Castle Ravenloft and a play to my sister. You must help her. Amy. So Strahd wrote this letter, pretending to be the burgomaster, imploring us to come to Barovia and rescue Irene Kaliana from a deadly affliction. Which is him. Why would he do that? Russell. Why would he want us to come here? Maeve. Clearly, he doesn't think we're a threat. Amy. Well, he hasn't met us yet. Jared. He's toying with you. He delights in the destruction of all things good, like my dear sister. To Philip. Gareth draws closer and compassionately asks Ismark whether his sister has been bitten by the vampire. Jared. Please make a charisma persuasion check to see how well he responds to your pastoral manner. You have advantage because he's friendly. Philip. Oh, good thing. My first roll was a 7, but with advantage. Not much better. Well, 10 plus 5 is 15. 2 influencing NPCs. Gareth takes the influence action. See the rules glossary, which characters can take to influence an NPC. It's easier to influence an NPC who's already disposed to help you, as Ismark is here. Ismark's friendly attitude gives Philip advantage on the roll. In this case, advantage made the difference between success and failure. Jared, Ismark leans toward you, Gareth, with a suspicious glance at the other people in the tavern, like he's worried they are eavesdropping. He whispers, "The Devil Strahd desires to make Irina his latest plaything. Twice he has visited her in the night, using his devilry to secure an invitation into the house, for he can't enter where he isn't invited. Twice he has bidden her, yet she clings to life. But I fear she won't survive another visit." Russell, all right, it's smart. You bought us drinks and told us about the Devil Strahd and your sister. How can we help? Jared, you are too kind. First, I need your help transporting Irina to the town of Vallaki. Maeve, where's Vallaki? Jared, it lies to the northwest, in the heart of the valley. As the raven flies, it is less than 10 miles, but the road winds among the hills and woods, and the journey takes at least 5 hours at speed. Russell, and why there? Jared, the town lies beyond the view of Castle Ravenloft, so I hope it's beyond Strahd's spies. And I have heard that Vallaki is well defended, with a wooden palisade and iron gates. Russell, as if such defenses would stop a vampire. Jared, indeed. But if moving her there can keep him away from her for even a few days, we have time for the second part of our task. Russell, a part where you help us. Jared, yes, when I help you face the vampire. Exploration. Exploration involves delving into places that are dangerous and full of mystery. The rules in this section detail some of the ways adventurers interact with the environment in such places. Adventuring equipment. As adventurers explore, their equipment can help them in many ways. For example,
Encore une fois, je vois pas pourquoi on n'est pas en train de regarder la fiche de personnage. Tu sais, mettons, tu fais une page explicative de c'est quoi, là, comme qu'ils l'ont fait au début. Puis après ça, tu as la feuille de personnage. Genre divisé en sections. Avec des petits en-têtes. Puis on t'explique à la page d'avant le processus que tu vas avoir. Fait que tu sais, première étape, aller à telle page. Tu vas voir les races. Quand tu choisis ta race, ça t'explique. Voici la section sur la feuille sur laquelle tu le mets, puis tu pognes ta feuille, tu le mets, tu continues de lire. Puis quand c'est le temps de jouer, là, tu t'en vas dans la section combat, tu t'en vas dans la section habilité, action. Mais, en tout cas, c'est peut-être moi qui est bizarre, là, mais moi, quand j'enseigne aux gens à jouer à Donjon Dragon, là, je fais pas tout ça, là. C'est ridicule.
they can reach out of the way places with a ladder, perceive things they wouldn't otherwise notice with a torch or another light source, bypass locked doors and containers with thieves' tools, and create obstacles for pursuers with caltrops. See Chapter 6 for rules on many items that are useful on adventures. The items in that chapter's tools and adventuring gear sections are especially useful. The weapons in that chapter can also be used for more than battle. You could use a quarterstaff, for example, to push a sinister-looking button that you're reluctant to touch. Vision and light. David is true. Some adventuring tasks, such as noticing danger, hitting an enemy, and targeting certain spells, are affected by sight. So effects that obscure vision can hinder you, as explained below. Obscured areas. An area might be lightly or heavily obscure. In a lightly obscured area, such as an area with dim light, patchy fog, or moderate foliage, you have disadvantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. A heavily obscured area, such as an area with darkness, heavy fog, or dense foliage, is opaque. You have the blinded condition. See the rules glossary when trying to see something there. Light. The presence or absence of light determines the category of illumination in an area, as defined below. Bright light. Bright light lets most creatures see normally. Even gloomy days provide bright light, as do torches, lanterns, fires, and other sources of illumination within a specific radius. Dim light. Dim light, also called shadows, creates a lightly obscured area. An area of dim light is usually a boundary between bright light and surrounding darkness. The soft light of twilight and dawn also counts as dim light. A full moon might bathe the land in dim light. Darkness. Darkness creates a heavily obscured area. Characters face darkness outdoors at night, even most moonlit nights, within the confines of an unlit dungeon, or in an area of magical darkness. Special senses. Some creatures have special senses that help them perceive things in certain situations. The rules glossary defines the following special senses: blind sight, dark vision, tremor sense, true sight. Hiding. Adventurers and monsters often hide, whether to spy on one another, sneak past a guardian, or set an ambush. The dungeon master decides when circumstances are appropriate for hiding. When you try to hide, you take the hide action. Interacting with objects. Interacting with objects is often simple to resolve. The player tells the DM that their character is doing something, such as moving a lever or opening a door, and the DM describes what happens. Sometimes, however, rules govern what you can do with an object as detailed in the following sections. What is an object? For the purpose of the rules, an object is a discrete, inanimate item like a window, door, sword, boat, table, chair, or stone. It isn't a building or a vehicle, which are composed of many objects, time-limited object interactions. When time is short, such as in combat, interactions with objects are limited. One free interaction per turn. That interaction must occur during a creature's movement or action. Any additional interactions require to utilize action, as explained in combat later in this chapter. Finding hidden objects. When your character searches for hidden things, such as a secret door or a trap, the DM typically asks you to make a wisdom perception check, provided you describe the character searching in the hidden object's vicinity. On a success, you find the object, other important details, or both. If you describe your character searching nowhere near a hidden object, a wisdom perception check won't reveal the object, no matter the check's total. Carrying objects. You can usually carry your gear and treasure without worrying about the weight of those objects. If you try to haul an unusually heavy object or a massive number of lighter objects, the DM might require you to abide by the rules for carrying capacity in the rules glossary. Breaking objects. As an action, you can automatically break or otherwise destroy a fragile, non-magical object, such as a glass container or a piece of paper. If you try to damage something more resilient, the DM might use the rules on breaking objects in the rules glossary. Hazards. Monsters are the main perils characters face, but other dangers await. The rules glossary defines the following hazards: burning, dehydration, falling, malnutrition, suffocation. Travel. During an adventure,
Salut, salut.
characters
On
might
fait le
travel
tour.
long distances on trips that could
Plus
take hours
facile
or
de cette
days.
manière-là,
The
ça
DM can
force moins les
summarize
yeux
this
et
travel without calculating exact distances or
c'est plus
travel
facile pour ma
time,
dyslexie.
or the DM might have you use the travel pace rules below. If you need to know how fast you can move when every second matters, see the movement rules in combat later in this chapter. Marching order. The adventurers should establish a marching order while they travel, whether indoors or outdoors.
Pardon,
The
j'ai pas vu
marching
qu'il y avait
order
des gens
makes
qui
it
m'avaient écrit.
easier to determine which characters are
Oui,
affected by traps,
c'est exactement
which
ça.
ones can
Je t'ai
spot hidden
complètement raté.
enemies, and which ones are the closest to those enemies if
My
a
bad.
fight breaks out. You can change your marching order outside combat and record the order any way you like. Write it down, for example, or arrange miniatures to show it. Travel pace. While traveling outside combat, a group can move at a fast, normal, or slow pace, as shown on the travel pace table. The table states how far the party can move in a period of time. If riding horses or other mounts, the group can move twice that distance for 1 hour, after which the mounts need a short or long rest before they can move at that increased pace again. See Chapter 6 for a selection of mounts for sale. The Dungeon Master's Guide has rules that affect which pace you can choose in certain types of terrain. Travel pace. Distance traveled per pace minute hour day. Fast 400 feet 4 miles 30 miles. Normal 300 feet 3 miles 24 miles. Slow 200 feet 2 miles 18 miles. Each travel pace has a game effect as defined below. Fast. Traveling at a fast pace imposes disadvantage on a traveler's wisdom perception or survival and dexterity stealth checks. Normal. Traveling at a normal pace imposes disadvantage on dexterity stealth checks. Slow. Traveling at a slow pace grants advantage on wisdom perception or survival checks. Vehicles. Travelers in wagons, carriages, or other land vehicles choose a pace as normal. Characters in a waterborne vessel are limited to the speed of the vessel, and they don't choose a travel pace. Depending on the vessel and the size of the crew, ships might be able to travel for up to 24 hours per day. Chapter 6 includes vehicles for sale. Exploration example. This scene finds the player characters investigating a mysterious and potentially dangerous location. They are moving through the environment and interacting with things they find there. Genre. The characters are exploring Castle Ravenloft, and the DM describes the room the characters have entered. Jared as DM. A blazing hard fire fills this room with warm light. Firelight glints off a poker beside the fireplace, and the walls are lined with ancient books. A huge painting hangs above the mantelpiece in a gilded frame. The firelight illuminates the portrait, an exact likeness of Irene Calian. Philip is Gareth. How old does the painting look? Maeve is Murray Bella. I'm going to check the books. Jared. Okay. I'll get to those in a second. Russell and Amy. What are your characters doing? Russell is Shreve. I stand near the door, sword drawn, ready for danger. This place is creepy. Amy is Oral. I go near the fireplace. A warm fire sounds nice, but I'm also alert for danger. 3 Jared.
C'est cool.
Okay. Philip, please make an intelligence history check as Gareth looks at the painting. Philip, I don't have proficiency in history, but here goes. I got, a 20 for a total of 20 Jared. 2 things leap out at Gareth about the painting. First, the woman's clothes look old-fashioned. Second, the paint is flaking in places, and the whole thing is covered by a thin layer of soot. You say this painting is a few centuries old. Everyone is accounted for. Exploration is open-ended. The players don't take turns moving around the dungeon the way they do in combat. But the DM frequently checks in to make sure it's clear what everyone is and what they are doing. Teamwork matters. The player characters are working toward a common goal. They move together through the dungeon and...
Ça, expliquer comment le concept du jeu se déroule naturellement, c'est bon d'en parler. Mais je pense pas que c'est pertinent d'en parler avant d'avoir complété une fiche de personnage.
cooperate to overcome its challenges. When the characters enter the room, they explore different parts of the room. When Oral finds a secret door behind the fireplace later in the example, they come together again to examine it, and Gareth figures out how to bypass the fire. It might seem like Russell's character wasn't doing much, but Shreve was protecting the group by guarding the door. 3 worth rolling with or without proficiency. You usually have a chance of success on an ability check even if you don't have proficiency in a relevant skill. In the example, Philip gets a 20 without proficiency. The D20 brings many surprises to the game, surprises that the DM then interprets. Philip, so maybe an ancestor of Irene's, unless she's already a vampire and this bitten by a straw thing is a ruse. Jared, who knows? Now, Murray Bell is looking at the books. Maeve, yeah. I pull one off the shelf at random. Jared, it's a book written in common called On the Habitations of the Divine in the Celestial and Infernal Realms. Russell, did you just make that up? Jared, I'll never tell. As you flip through the book, you notice it's very academic, almost impenetrable. Maeve, okay. I'll put that one back and pull out another. Jared, are Shreve and Oral doing anything else? For Amy, I grab the poker and poke at logs in the fire. Jared, as soon as you lift the poker, you hear a grinding sound, and the back of the fireplace slides to the side, revealing a room behind it. Amy, folks, I found something. Can I see anything in the room beyond? 4 finding hidden objects. Adventure environments are full of secrets, traps, concealed doors.
Ça, c'était une belle façon de l'apporter. Très, très
Characters
joli.
often use wisdom checks to find things. See the search action in the rules glossary. But sometimes they stumble on them accidentally, as Oral did here. Jared, past the flames and smoke, you see a glimmering pile of coins heaped near a chest. 5 Amy, anybody have a quick way to put out a fire? Philip, and you laughed at me for preparing create or destroy water. I clutch my holy symbol and cast the spell, drenching the fireplace. Jared, what does the spell's description say? Philip, it causes 10 gallons of water to rain down in a 30-foot cube, extinguishing flames there. 5 casting spells. Many characters have the ability to cast spells, which have a huge variety of effects. Some spells are mostly useful in combat by dealing damage or imposing conditions. Other spells have
Il y a déjà des
utility in
groupes qui
exploration.
commencent à
If
limiter
you're playing a
l'utilisation
spellcaster, look for a mix of combat effective and utilitarian
règles.
spells to help deal with
J'ai essayé de
early
joindre un groupe
challenges.
tout à l'heure,
Know
puis
your
c'était comme,
spells.
ah non, faut que
Have your
t'ailles
player's handbook
lu
open
les
to the
règles
description of a
2024. Je
spell
suis comme,
before you
hein?
cast it. Don't expect the
Bro,
DM
ça
to
fait même
know
pas une
how your
semaine
spell
sorti,
works.
calme-toi,
And be
là.
ready to answer any questions about it.
Je me suis dit que je me le taperais.
Great. That
Fait
puts
que,
out the
je vais
fire.
le savoir.
Without the light from the hearth, you're back to the magic glow of Shreve's sword, which casts your shadows into the room beyond.
Il n'y a pas
But you
beaucoup
can
de
see
de
through
gros
clouds of
changements.
lingering
Là.
smoke, a closed chest on the floor,
Pour être bien
surrounded by
honnête,
piles of coins.
les gens vont te donner
There
les
are
nouvelles
2
règles, puis
torch
tu vas les
sconces on
accepter
the
parce que
far
c'est juste
wall.
logique et
One
fluide.
holding an unlit torch with an intricate metal
Incluant la
base.
création de
The other
personnages qui est
empty.
simplifiée.
A skeleton in broken plate armor is lying against that wall, with one hand at his throat and the other holding the matching torch from the empty sconce. 6 vision and light. The DM determines what the adventurers can perceive, which means being aware of light sources, like the leaping flames in the fireplace and Shreve's glowing sword, as well as obscuring factors like smoke and fire. See vision and light earlier in this chapter for more information. Amy, I check off the chest. Jared, and the rest of you. Philip, Gareth enters and looks at the skeleton. Maeve, I keep watch on this side of the fireplace. Russell, I'm still back by the first door. Jared, Amy, the chest seems expertly made, with elegant fittings and clawed feet. 7. Amy, I tried to open it. Is it locked? Jared, it's not locked and opens easily, and it releases a cloud of sweet-smelling gas. Amy, oh, no, Jared. Oh, yes, I need Oral and Gareth to make Constitution saving throws. Amy, sorry. Philip, I got an 8. Philip, and a 5 for Gareth. Jared, as you draw this gas into your lungs, you feel a chill grip you, and your body stiffen. You both have the paralyzed condition. 7 saving throws. A saving throw is used to see whether a creature avoids or resists something. When the chest releases toxic gas, Philip's and Amy's characters make Constitution saving throws. Constitution is one of the 6 abilities that measure creatures' capabilities, and it has to do with health and stamina. When they fail their saves, the gas causes them to have the paralyzed condition. See conditions later in this chapter for more information. Combat. Craig J. Spear. Adventurers encounter many dangerous monsters and nefarious villains. In those moments, combat often breaks out. The order of combat. A typical combat encounter is a clash between 2 sides, a flurry of weapon swings, feints, parries, footwork, and spellcasting. The game organizes combat into a cycle of rounds and
définitivement une
turns.
option qui existe. Mais je pense que la beauté d'un jeu comme Donjon Dragon, c'est justement les règles qui font que ça a un feeling complet. Tu sais, il y a certaines personnes qui préfèrent vraiment l'aspect narratif de l'aventure. Je pense qu'il y a beaucoup de systèmes qui peuvent offrir ça, mais Donjon Dragon fait ce que Donjon Dragon fait. Si t'aimes pas ça, then tu vas aimer plein d'autres systèmes qui sont
stated positions in the room or other location, the DM figures out where the adversaries are, how far away and in what direction. Roll initiative. Everyone involved in the combat encounter rolls initiative, determining the order of combatants' turns. Take turns. Each participant in the battle takes a turn in initiative order. When everyone involved in the combat has had a turn, the round ends. Repeat this step until the fighting stops. Initiative. Initiative determines the order of turns during combat. When combat starts, every participant rolls initiative. They make a dexterity check that determines their place in the initiative order. The DM rolls for monsters. For a group of identical creatures, the DM makes a single roll, so each member of the group has the same initiative. Surprise! If a combatant is surprised by combat starting,
2, 3, j'ai touché à 4, puis j'ai été dans 5. Puis je pense migrer à la 2024 naturellement. Mais j'ai un sang et je comprends à 100% ton feeling vis-à-vis les changements qui ont été apportés par contre.
From highest to lowest initiative. This is the order in which they act during each round. The initiative order remains the same from round to round. Ties. If a tie occurs, the DM decides the order among tied monsters, and the players decide the order among tied characters. The DM decides the order if the tie is between a monster and a player character. Your turn. On your turn, you can move a distance up to your speed and take one action. You decide whether to move first or take your action first. The main actions you can take are listed in actions earlier in this chapter. A character's features and a monster's stat block also provide action options. Movement and position later in this chapter gives the rules for movement. Communicating. You can communicate however you are able, through brief utterances and gestures, as you take your turn. Doing so uses neither your action nor your move. Extended communication, such as a detailed explanation of something or an attempt to persuade a foe, requires an action. The influence action is the main way you try to influence a monster. Interacting with things. You can interact with one object or feature of the environment for free during either your move or action. For example, you could open a door during your move as you stride toward a foe. If you want to interact with a second object, you need to take the utilized action. Some magic items and other special objects always require an action to use, as stated in their descriptions. The DM might require you to use an action for any of these activities when it needs special care or when it presents an unusual obstacle. For instance, the DM might require you to take the utilized action to open a step door or turn a crank to lower a drawbridge, doing nothing on your turn. You can forego moving, taking an action, or doing anything at all on your turn. If you can't decide what to do, consider taking the defensive dodge action or the ready action to delay acting. Ending combat. Combat ends when one side or the other is defeated, which can mean the creatures are killed or knocked out or have surrendered or fled. Combat can also end when both sides agree to end it. Movement and position. Igor Grechny. Creatures occupy spaces of varying
C'est
size.
plus vieux, ça, je
This
pense. Hein?
displays of beast occupies
Ça
a 10
me
by
semble que ça
10
me dit
foot
quoi, puis ça
space,
fait
while
un
the
moment que
adventurers
c'est...
occupy 5 by 5 foot spaces. On your turn, you can move a distance equal to your speed or less, or you can decide not to move. Your movement can include climbing, crawling, jumping, and swimming, each explained in the rules glossary. These different modes of movement can be combined with your regular movement, or they can constitute your entire move. However you're moving with your speed, you deduct the distance of each part of your move from it until it is used up or until you are done moving, whichever comes first. A character's
Mais
speed
c'est pas
is
Forgotten
determined during
Realms,
character
Chronique
creation.
oubliée.
A monster's
C'est
speed
comme
is
un
noted in
rip-off
the
de
monster's
Forgotten
stat
Realms.
block.
C'est
See the
quoi?
rules glossary for more about speed as well as about special speeds, such as a climb speed, fly speed, or swim speed. Difficult terrain. Combatants are often slowed down by difficult terrain. Low furniture, rubble, undergrowth, steep stairs, snow, and shallow bogs are examples of difficult terrain. Every foot of movement in difficult terrain costs 1 extra foot, even if multiple things in a space count as difficult terrain. Playing on a grid if you play using a square grid and miniatures or other tokens. Follow these rules. Squares, each square represents 5 feet. Speed. Rather than moving foot by foot, move square by square on the grid using your speed in 5-foot segments. You can translate your speed into squares by dividing it by 5. For example, a speed of 30 feet translates into 6 squares. If you use a grid often, consider writing your speed in squares on your character sheet. Entering the square. To enter a square, you must have enough movement left to pay for entering.
Encore une
It
fois,
costs 1 square
I
of
don't
movement to
see
enter an unoccupied
why
square
you
that's
would do
adjacent to
this
your space or
without
properly
knowing
or
what the
diagonally
character sheet
adjacent.
is.
A
It's
square of
useless
difficult
information
terrain
up to
costs
now.
2 squares to enter. Other effects might make a square cost even more.
Ok,
Corners.
ok.
Diagonal movement can't cross the corner of a wall, a large tree, or another terrain feature
Je
that
suis un
fills a
grand
space.
fan
Ranges.
du lore,
To
de
determine
l'univers
the
de
range on a
Forgotten
grid
Realms.
between
Je trouve
two
que c'est
things,
merveilleux
whether creatures or
ce qu'ils ont réussi
objects.
à accomplir.
Count
C'est pour ça
squares
que
from
j'étais
a
un
square
petit peu accroché
adjacent to one
là-dessus.
of them
J'ai
and stop
lu
counting in the
énormément
space
de
of
leurs
the other
livres,
one. Count by the
entre autres.
shortest route. Breaking
Fait
up
que
your move.
je
You
trouve
can
ça le
break
fun de
up your
pouvoir
move
comme
using some of its movement
jouer avec
before
tout
and
ça.
after any action, bonus action, or reaction you take on the same
Cassius
turn.
Bay.
For
Je
example,
n'ai
if you
jamais
have a speed of 30 feet,
malheureusement entendu
you
parler
can
de
go
ça.
10 feet, take an action,
De cela.
and then go 20 feet, dropping prone. On your turn, you can give yourself the prone condition, see the rules glossary, without using an action or any of your speed. But you can't do so if your speed is 0. Creature size. A creature belongs to a size category, which determines the width of the square space the creature occupies on a map, as shown on the creature's size and space table. That table lists the sizes from smallest tiny to largest gargantuan. A creature's space is the area that it effectively controls in combat and the area it needs to fight effectively. A character's size is determined by species, and a monster's size is specified in the monster's stat block. Creature size and space. Size space feet space squares. Tiny 212 by 212 feet 4 per square. Small 5 by 5 feet 1 square. Medium 5 by 5 feet 1 square. Large 10 by 10 feet 4 squares 2 by 2. Huge 15 by 15 feet 9 squares 3 by 3. Gargantuan 20 by 20 feet 16 squares 4 by 4. Moving around other creatures. During your move, you can pass through the space of an ally. A creature that has the
J'avais entendu qu'il y avait
incapacitated
GURP
condition, see
aussi
the
qui
rules
était
glossary.
plus
A
simple
tiny
à
creature,
jouer.
or a creature that is
Mais,
2 sizes larger or smaller than
ouais.
you. Another creature's space
Il y a
is difficult
quelques,
terrain
il y a
for you
quelques
unless
systèmes qui
that
existent
creature is
effectivement.
tiny or your ally. You can't willingly end a move in a space occupied by another creature. If you somehow end a turn in a space with another creature, you have the prone condition, see the rules glossary, unless you are tiny or of a larger size than the other creature, making an attack. When you take the attack action, you make an attack. Some other actions, bonus actions, and reactions also let you make an attack. Whether you strike with a melee weapon, fire a ranged weapon, or make an attack roll as part of a spell, an attack has the following structure. Choose a target. Pick a target within your attack's range, a creature, an object, or a location. Determine modifiers. The DM determines whether the target has cover, see the next section, and whether you have advantage or disadvantage against the target. In addition, spells, special abilities, and other effects can apply penalties or bonuses to your attack roll. Resolve the attack. Make the attack roll. As detailed earlier in this chapter, on a hit, you roll damage unless the particular attack has rules that specify otherwise. Some attacks cause special effects in addition to or instead of damage. Cover walls, trees, creatures, and other obstacles can provide cover, making a target more difficult to harm. As detailed in the cover table, there are 3 degrees of cover, each of which gives a different benefit to a target. The target can benefit from cover only when an attack or other effect originates on the opposite side of the cover. If a target is behind multiple sources of cover, only the most protective degree of cover applies. The degrees aren't added together. For example, if a target is behind a creature that gives half cover and a tree trunk that gives 3/4 cover, the target has 3/4 cover. Cover, degree benefit to target offered by half +2 bonus to AC and dexterity saving throws another creature or an object that covers at least half of the target. 3/4 +5 bonus to AC and dexterity saving throws an object that covers at least 3/4 of the target. Total can't be targeted directly an object that covers the whole target. Unseen attackers and targets. When you make an attack roll against a target you can't see, you have disadvantage on the roll. This is true whether you're guessing the target's location or targeting a creature you can hear but not see. If the target isn't in the location you targeted, you miss. When a creature can't see you, you have advantage on attack rolls against it. If you are hidden when you make an attack roll, you give away your location when the attack hits or misses. Ranged attacks. When you make a ranged attack, you fire a bow, hurl an axe, or otherwise send projectiles to strike a foe at a distance. Many spells also involve making a ranged attack. Range. You can make ranged attacks only against targets within a specified range. If a ranged attack, such as one made with a spell, has a single range, you can't attack a target beyond this range. Some ranged attacks, such as those made with a longbow, have 2 ranges. The smaller number is the normal range, and the larger number is the long range. Your attack roll has disadvantage when your target is beyond normal range, and you can't attack a target beyond long range. Range attacks in close combat. Aiming a ranged attack is more difficult when a foe is next to you. When you make a ranged attack roll with a weapon, a spell, or some other means, you have disadvantage on the roll if you are within 5 feet of an enemy who can see you and doesn't have the incapacitated condition. See the rules glossary. Melee attacks. A melee attack allows you to attack a target within your reach. A melee attack typically uses a handheld weapon or an unarmed strike. Many monsters make melee attacks with claws, teeth, or other body parts. A few spells also involve melee attacks. Reach. A creature has a 5-foot reach and can thus attack targets within 5 feet when making a melee attack. Certain creatures have melee attacks with a reach greater than 5 feet, as noted in their descriptions.
C'est seulement de la manière que tu acceptes de rouler ta table qui change cet effet.
Past your foes, you put yourself in danger by provoking an opportunity attack. Avoiding opportunity attack. You can avoid provoking an opportunity attack by taking the disengage action. You also don't provoke an opportunity attack when you teleport or when you are moved without using your movement, action, bonus action, or reaction. For example, you don't provoke an opportunity attack if an explosion hurls you out of a foe's reach or if you fall past an enemy. Making an opportunity attack. You can make an opportunity attack when a creature that you can see leaves your reach. To make the attack, take a reaction to make one melee attack with a weapon or an unarmed strike against that creature. The attack occurs right before it leaves your reach. Mounted combat. Yabalups. Astride a giant seahorse. A paladin adventures underwater. A willing creature that is at least one size larger than a rider and that has an appropriate anatomy can serve as a mount, using the following rules: mounting and dismounting. During your move, you can mount a creature that is within 5 feet of you or dismount. Doing so costs an amount of movement equal to half your speed round down. For example, if your speed is 30 feet, you spend 15 feet of movement to mount a horse. Controlling a mount. You can control a mount only if it has been trained to accept a rider. Domesticated horses, mules, and similar creatures have such training. The initiative of a controlled mount changes to match yours when you mount it. It moves on your turn as you direct it, and it has only 3 action options during that turn: dash, disengage, and dodge. A controlled mount can move and act even on the turn that you mount it. In contrast, an independent mount, one that lets you ride but ignores your control, retains its place in the initiative order and moves and acts as it likes. Falling off. If an effect is about to move your mount against this while you're on it, you must succeed on a DC 10 dexterity saving throw or fall off. Landing with the prone condition. See the rules glossary. In an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the mount. While mounted, you must make the same save if you're knocked prone or the mount is. Underwater combat. A fight underwater follows these rules. Impeded weapons. When making a melee attack roll with a weapon underwater, a creature that lacks a swim speed has disadvantage on the attack roll unless the weapon deals piercing damage. A ranged attack roll with a weapon underwater automatically misses a target beyond the weapon's normal range, and the attack roll has disadvantage against a target within normal range. Fire resistance. Anything underwater has resistance to fire damage explained in Damage and Healing. Damage and Healing. Injury and death are frequent threats in D&D. as detailed in the following rules. Hit points. Hit points represent durability and the will to live. Creatures with more hit points are more difficult to kill. Your hit point maximum is the number of hit points you have when uninjured. Your current hit points can be any number from that maximum down to 0, which is the lowest hit points can go. Whenever you take damage, subtract it from your hit points. Hit point loss has no effect on your capabilities until you reach 0 hit points. If you have half your hit points or fewer, you're bloodied, which has no game effect on its own, but which might trigger other game
Tu
effects.
devrais,
Resting
c'est
adventurers
probablement la
can't
meilleure
spend every
option. Si
hour
tu peux
adventuring.
prendre en
They
note
need
tous les
rest.
changements,
Any creature
les
can
trucs
take
que
a
tu vas
long, short
appliquer,
rest
tu
in the
mets
midst of
un
a
livre
day
de
and
règles
an 8-hour long
alternatif
rest to end it.
au
Regaining
système
hit
que
points is
tu
one of the main
apprécies, et
benefits of
puis
a rest. The rules
voilà le
glossary
tout.
provides the rules
Tous
for
les jeux de
short and
rôle
long
sont
rest.
sujets à
Damage
interprétation au niveau des
Each weapon,
règlements.
spell,
Selon le
damage
maître de
monster
jeu, tu sais,
ability
tu peux avoir un
specifies the
système
damage
qui a
it
peut-être
deals.
200
You roll the
ans
damage
d'histoire de
dice
jeu,
at any modifiers
puis
and
qui
deal the
suit
damage to
aucunement
your
les
target.
règles de Donjons
If
et
there's a
Dragons
penalty to the
conventionnelles,
damage,
puis qui peut
it's
être
possible
absolument
to deal 0
merveilleuse. Là.
damage, but not negative damage. When attacking with a weapon, you add your ability modifier, the same modifier used for the attack roll, to the damage roll. A spell tells you which dice to roll for damage and whether to add any modifiers. Unless a roll says otherwise, you don't add your ability modifier to a fixed damage amount that doesn't use a roll, such as the damage of a blowgun. See Chapter 6 for weapons damage dice and Chapter 7 for spells damage dice. Critical hits. When you score a critical hit, you deal extra damage. Roll the attack's damage dice twice, add them together, and add any relevant modifiers as normal. For example, if you score a critical hit with a dagger, roll 2 for the damage rather than 1 for, and add your relevant ability modifier. If the attack involves other damage dice, such as from the rogue snake attack feature, you also roll those dice twice. Saving throws and damage. Damage dealt via saving throws uses these rules. Damage against multiple targets. When you create a damaging effect that forces 2 or more targets to make saving throws against it at the same time, roll the damage once for all the targets. For example, when a wizard casts Fireball, the spell's damage is rolled once for all creatures caught in the blast. Half damage. Many saving throw effects deal half damage round down to a target when the target succeeds on the saving throw. The half damage is equal to half the damage that would be dealt on a failed save. Damage types. Each instance of damage has a type, like fire or slashing. Damage types
Ça
are listed
dépend
in
de
the rules
toi, ça
glossary
dépend de
and have
tes
no
joueurs,
rules
ça
of their
dépend
own.
de
But
l'investissement
other
que tu veux y
rules,
mettre.
such as resistance,
Tu peux faire un
rely on
projet d'une
damage
vie
types.
là, et
Resistance
jamais
and
ne
vulnerability. Some creatures and
n'arrêter. là,
objects
C'est
have
très
resistance
possible.
or vulnerability to certain damage types. If you have resistance to a damage type, damage of that type is halved against you round down. If you have vulnerability to a damage type, damage of that type is doubled against you. For example, if you have resistance to cold damage, such damage is halved against you, and if you have vulnerability to fire damage, such damage is doubled against you. No stacking. Multiple instances of resistance or vulnerability that affect the same damage type count as only one instance. For example, if you have resistance to necrotic damage as well as resistance to all damage, necrotic damage is reduced by half against you. Order of application. Modifiers to damage are applied in the following order. Adjustments such as bonuses, penalties, or multipliers are applied first. Resistance is applied second, and vulnerability is applied third. For example, a creature has resistance to all damage and vulnerability to fire damage, and it's within a magical order that reduces all damage by 5. If it takes 28 fire damage, the damage is first reduced by 5 to 23, then half for the creature's resistance and rounded down to 11, then doubled for its vulnerability to 22. Immunity. Some creatures and objects have immunity to certain damage types and conditions. Immunity to a damage type means you don't take damage of that type, and immunity to a condition means you aren't
Mais
affected
non,
by healing.
mais non.
Hit points can be restored by
Ça, c'est
magic,
le genre de
such as
truc
the cure
que
wounds
si tu
spell
le
or
fais pas,
potion
ça
of healing,
n'arrive pas.
or by a short or long rest. See the rules glossary.
Tu
When you
vas
receive healing,
faire des
add the
erreurs.
restored hit points
Et
to
c'est
your current
correct.
hit points.
Ça fait
Your
partie de
hit points can't
l'expérience.
exceed your hit point maximum, so any hit points regained in excess of the maximum are lost. For example, if you receive 8 hit points of healing and have 14 hit points and a hit point maximum of 20, you regain 6 hit points, not 8. Drop into 0 hit points. When a creature drops to 0 hit points, it either dies outright or falls unconscious, as explained below. Instant death. Here are the main ways a creature can die instantly. Monster death. A monster dies the instant it drops to 0 hit points, although a dungeon master can ignore this rule for an individual monster and treat it like a character. Hit point maximum of 0. A creature dies if its hit point maximum reaches 0. Certain effects drain life energy, reducing a creature's hit point maximum, massive damage. When damage reduces a character to 0 hit points and damage remains, the character dies if the remainder equals or exceeds their hit point maximum. For example, if your character has a hit point maximum of 12, currently has 6 hit points, and takes 18 damage, the character drops to 0 hit points, but 12 damage remains. The character then dies, since 12 equals their hit point maximum. Character demise. If your character dies, others might find a magical way to revive your character, such as with the Raise Dead spell, or talk with the DM about making a new character to join the group. The rules glossary has more information on being dead. Falling unconscious. If you reach 0 hit points and don't die instantly, you have the unconscious condition. See the rules glossary until you regain any hit points. And you now face making death saving throws. See below. Knocking out a creature. When you would reduce a creature to 0 hit points with a melee attack, you can instead reduce the creature to 1 hit point and give it the unconscious condition. It then starts a short rest, at the end of which that condition ends on it. The condition ends early if the creature regains any hit points or if someone takes an action to administer first aid to it, making a successful DC 10 Wisdom Medicine check. Death saving throws. Whenever you start your turn with 0 hit points, you must make a death saving throw to determine whether you creep closer to death or hang on to life. Unlike other saving throws, this one isn't tied to an ability score. You're in the hands of fate now. 3 successes/failures. Roll 120. If the roll is 10 or higher, you succeed. Otherwise, you fail. A success or failure has no effect by itself. On your third success, you become stable. See stabilizing a character below. On your third failure, you die. The successes and failures don't need to be consecutive. Keep track of both until you collect 3 of a kind. The number of both is reset to 0 when you regain any hit points or become stable. Rolling a 1 or 20. When you roll a 1 on the d20 for a death saving throw, you suffer 2 failures. If you roll a 20 on the d20, you regain 1 hit point. Damage at 0 hit points. If you take any damage while you have 0 hit points, you suffer a death saving throw failure. If the damage is from a critical hit, you suffer 2 failures instead. If the damage equals or exceeds your hit point maximum, you die. Stabilizing a character. You can take the help action to try to stabilize a creature with 0 hit points, which requires a successful DC 10 Wisdom Medicine check. A stable creature doesn't make death saving throws even though it has 0 hit points, but it still has the unconscious condition. If the creature takes damage, it stops being stable and starts making death saving throws again. A stable creature that isn't healed regains 1 hit point after 1 for hours. Temporary hit points. Some spells and other effects confer temporary hit points, which are a buffer against losing actual hit points, as explained below. Lose temporary hit points first. If you have temporary hit points and take damage, those points are lost first, and any leftover damage carries over to your hit points. For example, if you have 5 temporary hit points and take 7 damage, you lose those points and then lose 2 hit points. Duration. Temporary hit points last until they're depleted or you finish a long rest. See the rules glossary. Temporary hit points don't stack. Temporary hit points can't be added together. If you have temporary hit points and receive more of them, you decide whether to keep the ones you have or to gain the new ones. For example, if a spell grants you 12 temporary hit points when you already have 10, you can have 12 or 10, not 22. They are not hit points or healing. Temporary hit points can't be added to your hit points. Healing can't restore them, and receiving temporary hit points doesn't count as healing. Because temporary hit points aren't hit points, a creature can be at full hit points and receive temporary hit points. If you have 0 hit points, receiving temporary hit points doesn't restore you to consciousness. Only true healing can save you. Conditions. Many effects impose a condition, a temporary state that alters the recipient's capabilities. The following conditions are defined in the rules glossary. Blinded, charmed, deafened, exhaustion, frightened, grappled, incapacitated, invisible, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, restrained, stunned, unconscious. The definition of a condition specifies what happens to its recipient while affected by it, and some conditions apply other conditions. Duration. A condition lasts either for a duration specified by the effect that imposed the condition or until the condition is countered. The prone condition is countered by standing up. For example, conditions don't stack. If multiple effects impose the same condition on you, each instance of the condition has its own duration, but the condition's effects don't get worse. Either you have a condition or you don't. The exhaustion condition is an exception. Its effects get worse if you have the condition and receive it again. Combat and damage example. In this scene, Threats force a group of adventurers
We're
into battle.
almost at
This
the end.
example
On sera à la
demonstrates
fin,
the
on sera à la fin.
turn-based flow of combat that gives each player a chance to detail what they do during the high-stakes moments of the fight. Below Castle Ravenloft, the characters enter combat. Jared is DM. Yellow light covers the ceiling in this passage, which has alcoves along both sides. Russell as Shreve appear into the nearest alcoves. Jared. They each contain human skeletal remains. The silence is broken suddenly by the rattle of bones as the skeletons lurch to their feet all around you and prepare to attack. Starting combat. While describing the skeletons animating, the DM gets ready to start combat by mentally figuring out where everyone is, referring to the map of the area and the party's established marching order. Russell, how many skeletons? 9 Jared, 10 in all, and they are hostile. Roll initiative. Russell, 10 skeletons. Yikes. I got a 16. Mavis Murray Bella. I got 8. 9 rolling initiative. The next step in combat is for everyone involved to roll initiative. Philip as Gareth. An incredible 2 for Gareth. Amy as Oral. I got a 19. 10 Jared. The rogue is quick to react, but not as quick as the skeletons. They got a 20. The first 4 attack the person in the lead. Shreve. 10 taking turns. Now each participant in the battle takes a turn in initiative order. The skeletons go first because they got the highest initiative, 20. Russell. Oh boy. 11 Jared. Their attack roll totals are 8, 16, 18, and 20. Russell. The 8 and 16 miss my AC, but the others hit. Jared. 2 of them stick you with their broken blades, dealing a total of 9 piercing damage. 11 attack rolls. When a creature attacks, whether swinging a sword or firing an arrow from a bow, this player makes an attack roll. If the total is equal to
C'est
or
vraiment une
higher than
question
the
de balance
target's
quand tu
armor
crées un
class
univers
AC,
puis tu crées
the attack hits.
une
Russell,
expérience pour des
is
joueurs,
that
mais
the
tu devrais
best you
toujours
can do?
commencer avec une histoire
Philip,
simple,
never say that to the
pratiquer
DM.
avec une histoire
Jared,
simple,
heck, now 2 of
maîtriser
them
la
attack roll.
base, puis
The
après
first roll is a natural one. A
avancer
miss.
avec
The second roll is 16.
les
Amy,
différentes options.
that hits. Jared, you take 4 piercing damage, and one of them attacks Murray Bella with a roll of 14. 12 Maeve hits. No, wait, I cast shield, so that misses. Jared, the skeleton's blade bounces off your shield of magical force. Then 2 of them attack Gareth. One misses with a 5, but the other one lands a solid blow with a 21, dealing 7 piercing damage. 12 spells and reactions. Murray Bella casts the shield spell. It's a special property of this spell that it can be cast even when it's not the caster's turn, using her reaction C actions earlier in this chapter. Philip, that got my attention. Jared, that's 9 attacks. There's one more skeleton at the end of the hall. It moves up and waits for an opening. Now it's Oral's turn. Amy, I attack one close to me. Does a 24 hit? Jared, a solid hit. Amy, and it's next to one of my allies, right? Jared, yes, 13 Amy. So with my sneak attack, that's 22 damage. Jared, your blade slides into an empty eye socket, and the skeleton clatters to the ground, now inanimate and harmless. 13 Amy. Then I use cunning action to disengage as a bonus action and move 20 feet out of the melee. 13 special abilities. Oral sneak attack lets him deal extra damage to the skeletons, and his cunning action lets him disengage as a bonus action. These are examples of class features described in Chapter 3 that let characters bend the rules. Jared, very good. Shreve, 14 Russell. I drop my sword and pull out my warhammer. Time to break some bones. My first attack is a 21 to hit for 7 bludgeoning damage. Jared, it tries to block your swing, but the force of your blow destroys the skeleton.
Wow.
14 vulnerability. An attack that deals bludgeoning damage is deadly to skeletons. Shreve knows this from past experience, which is why she drops her sword and switches to a bludgeoning weapon. She rolls only 7 damage, but the DM knows the skeleton actually takes 14 damage. Russell, I swing at the next skeleton with 11 to hit. Jared, the skeleton dodges out of the way. Russell, rats, that's my turn. Jared, Marie Bella, 15 Maeve. How many can I get in a 15-foot cube? Jared, 3 if you don't want to get Shreve too. 15 areas of effect. Spells and many other effects in the game fill a specific area that is defined by the rules, like the 15-foot cube of the Thunderwave spell. See the rules glossary for more on areas of effect. 16 Maeve. That's probably best. I cast Thunderwave at those 3, using a level 2 spell slot. So there's a loud boom, and a wave of thunderous force sweeps over the skeletons. They need to make DC 15 Constitution saves. Jared, they all fail. 16 saving throws. The skeletons make Constitution saving throws to resist the Thunderwave spell. When they fail those saves, they take damage and are pushed, as defined in that spell's description. Maeve, because I used a level 2 slot. That's 15 thunder damage, and they are pushed 10 feet away. Jared, they are pushed back and shattered. Maeve, excellent. 4 down, 6 to go. Jared, and it's Garrett's turn at last. Philip, how many of them are within 30 feet of me? Damage and hit points. The skeletons have 13 hit points each, so the spells and attacks in this example deal enough damage to destroy them. If a spell or an attack dealt less than 13 damage, the DM would keep track of the damage each skeleton has taken until it is reduced to 0 hit points and is destroyed. Jared, all 6. 17 Philip, I hold up my holy symbol and ask Pella the Holy Sun to sear these skeletons. They need to make DC 15 wisdom saves. Jared rolling. Oh, those are not good numbers. None of them even got close. Philip, they each take 18 radiant damage and 17 saving throws. Garrett's Seer Undead is a class feature, see Chapter 3. As with Murray Bella's Thunderwave spell, Seer Undead forces the skeletons to make a saving throw. Jared, never mind that. Pella does indeed smite these skeletons. They are silhouetted for a moment in a burst of brilliant light. Then they vanish, leaving only their broken swords behind. Chapter 2, Creating a Character. Dimitri Burmack, world-traveling explorers Hank, Bobby, Sheila, Diana, and Presto stand on the threshold of their next adventure. You can make a character for Dungeons and Dragons using the building blocks in this book. Your character is a combination of game statistics, role-playing hooks, and your imagination. You choose a class such as fighter or wizard, a background such as sailor or acolyte, and a species such as human or elf. You also invent the personality and appearance of your character. Once completed, your character serves as your avatar in the D&D multiverse. Get ready. Before you dive into character creation, there are a few things to do to get ready, as explained below. Talk with your DM. Start by talking with your dungeon master about the type of D&D game they plan to run. If the DM draws inspiration from Greek myth, for example, you might choose a different direction for your character than if the DM is planning for swashbuckling on the high seas. Think about the kind of adventure you want to play in this game. If you don't know where to begin, look at the character illustrations in this book for inspiration. Session 0. Some dungeon masters start a campaign with a Session 0, an initial gathering focused on creating characters and setting expectations, including topics to avoid as well as those to embrace. A Session 0 provides a great opportunity to talk to the other players and the DM and decide whether your characters know one another, how they met, and what sorts of quests the group might undertake together. Choose a character sheet. You'll record the main details of your character on a character sheet. Throughout this chapter, we use the term character sheet to mean whatever you use to track your character's details, whether it's a printed character sheet, a digital character sheet like the one on D&D Beyond, or plain paper. Choose whichever style of sheet works for you, and then embark on creating a character. Create your character. Here are the steps to make a character. Each step is explored in detail in this chapter. Choose a class. Every adventurer is a member of a class. A class broadly describes a character's vocation, special talents, and favorite tactics. Determine origin. A character's origin includes two elements, background and species. How did the character spend the years leading up to a life of adventure? Who are the character's ancestors? You can also choose your character's languages. Determine ability scores. Much of what your character does in the game depends on the character's 6 abilities. Choose an alignment. Alignment is a shorthand for your character's moral compass. Fill in details. Using the choices you've made, fill in the remaining details on your character sheet. On the character sheet on the following pages, many spaces are labeled with a number that corresponds with one of those steps. Step 1. Choose a class. Choose a class and write it on your character sheet. The class overview table summarizes the classes. See Chapter 3 for the class's details. Class overview. Class likes. Primary ability complexity. Barbarian battle strength average. Bard performing charisma high. Cleric gods wisdom average. Druid nature wisdom high. Fighter weapon strength or dexterity low. Monk unarmed combat dexterity and wisdom high. Paladin defense strength and charisma average. Ranger survival dexterity and wisdom average. Rogue stealth dexterity low. Sorcerer power charisma high. Warlock occult lord charisma high. Wizard spellbooks intelligence average. A balanced party. The classic D&D party comprises a cleric, fighter, rogue, and wizard. Those 4 classes have the longest history in the game, but more importantly, they bring a balanced mix of capabilities to adventures. You're welcome to use that party setup or modify it using these guidelines. Cleric, replace with Bard or Druid fighter. Replace with Barbarian, Monk, Paladin, or Ranger rogue. Replace with Bard or Ranger wizard. Replace with Bard, Sorcerer, or Warlock. Write your level. Write your character's level on your character sheet. Typically, a character starts at level 1 and advances in level by adventuring and gaining experience points XP. Write your XP. Also record your experience points. A level 1 character has 0 XP. Starting at a higher level, your DM might start you at a higher level. If you start at level 3 or higher, write your chosen subclass on your character sheet. See the starting at higher level section later in the chapter for more information. Note armor training. Your class might give you training with certain categories of armor. Note your armor training on your character sheet. Armor training with a kind of armor means you can wear that armor effectively, gaining defensive bonuses from it. The categories of armor are described in Chapter 6. Hold that thought. You'll fill in more details about your class later. Choosing your class is the most important decision you make in creating a character, and it informs many of the decisions you make in later steps. You'll return to your class's description in Chapter 3 several more times before you're done. Step 2. Determine origin. Determining your character's origin involves choosing a background, a species, and 2 languages. A character's background represents the place and occupation that were most formative for the character. The combination of background, species, and languages provides fertile soil for your imagination as you ponder your character's earliest days. Choose a background. Choose your character's background and write it on your character sheet. You can choose any of the backgrounds detailed in Chapter 4, and your DM might offer additional backgrounds as options. The background you choose influences Step 3, when you determine your character's ability scores. If you're having trouble choosing, the ability scores and backgrounds table shows which backgrounds benefit which ability scores. Look for your class's primary ability there. Ability scores and backgrounds. Ability backgrounds. Strength artisan, entertainer, farmer, guard, noble, sailor, soldier. Dexterity artisan, charlatan, criminal, entertainer, guide, sailor, scribe, soldier, wayfarer, constitution, charlatan, criminal, farmer, guide, hermit, merchant, sage, soldier, intelligence, acolyte, artisan, criminal, guard, merchant, noble, sage, scribe, wisdom, acolyte, farmer, guard, guide, hermit, sage, sailor, scribe, wayfarer, charisma, acolyte, charlatan, entertainer, hermit, merchant, noble, wayfarer. Record your feat. A background gives you a feat, which grants your character particular capabilities. Feats are detailed in Chapter 5. Write the feat on your character sheet. Note proficiencies. Your background gives proficiency in 2 skills and with 1 tool. Record this information on your character sheet. Your class also gives proficiencies. Check your class description in Chapter 3 and note the proficiencies on your character sheet. On the sample character sheet, you can indicate proficiency in skills and saving throws by marking the circle next to them. The features table in your class description shows your proficiency bonus described in Chapter 1, which is +2 for a level 1 character. Note this number on your character sheet. You'll fill in other numbers connected to these proficiencies in Step 5. Choose starting equipment. Your background and class both provide starting equipment. Any coins that you gain at this step can be immediately spent on equipment from Chapter 6. In addition, you can have 1 trinket at no cost. See the trinkets table at the end of this chapter. Record your chosen equipment on your character sheet. Equipment is described in Chapter 6, but for now you can just write it all down and look up the specifics in that chapter later. There's also space on the sample character sheet to note any coins you have left after purchasing your equipment, as well as treasure you acquire on your adventures. Chris Seaman, consider how your choices combine to set your character on the path to adventure. Choose a species. Choose a species for your character. The following species options are detailed in Chapter 4. Osimer, Dragonborn, Dwarf, Elf, Gnome, Goliath, Halfling, Human, Orc, and Tiefling. Once you've chosen a species, write it on your character sheet. Then record your species traits. Your character's size and speed are determined by the character's species. Record these in the appropriate places on your character sheet as well. You may write just the first letter of your size. Imagine your past and present. Let your character's background and species inspire how you imagine their past. That past fade into the character's present. With that in mind, consider answers to the following questions as your character. Who raised you? Who was your dearest childhood friend? Did you grow up with a pet? Have you fallen in love? If so, with whom? Did you join an organization, such as a guild or religion? If so, are you still a member of it? What elements of your past inspire you to go on adventures now? Choose languages. Your character knows at least 3 languages, common +2 languages you roll or choose from the standard languages table. Knowledge of a language means your character can communicate in it, read it, and write it. Your class and other features might also give you languages. The standard languages table lists languages that are widespread on D&D worlds. Every player character knows Common, which originated in the planar metropolis of Sigil, the hub of the multiverse. The other standard languages originated with the first members of the most prominent species in the worlds of D&D and have since spread widely. Raw table to VTT. Standard languages: 1 on 2 language origin. Common Sigil. 1 common sign language Sigil. 2 draconic dragons. 3, 4 dwarvish dwarves. 5, 6 elvish elves. 7 giant giants. 8 gnomish gnomes. 9 goblin goblinoids. 10, 11 halflings. 12 orcs. The rare languages table lists languages that are either secret or derived from other planes of existence and thus less widespread in the worlds of the material plane. Some features let a character learn a rare language. Rare languages. Language origin: abyssal demons of the abyss. Celestials. Deep speech aberrations. Druidic circles. Infernal devils of the 9 hells. Primordial * elementals. Sylvan the Fable. Thieves' cant various criminal guilds. Undercommon the Underdark. * primordial includes the Aquan, Orn, Ignan, and Terran dialects. Creatures that know one of these dialects can communicate with those that know a different one. Step 3. Determine ability scores. To determine your character's ability scores, you first generate a set of 6 numbers using the instructions below and then assign them to your 6 abilities. Chapter 1 explains what each ability means. Generate your scores. Determine your ability scores by using one of the following 3 methods. Your DM might prefer you to use a particular one. Standard array. Use the following 6 scores for your abilities: 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8. Random generation. Roll 4d6 and record the total of the highest 3 dice. Do this 5 more times till you have 6 numbers. Point cost. You have 27 points to spend on your ability scores. The cost of each score is shown on the ability score point cost table. For example, a score of 410 costs 7 of your 27 points. Ability score point costs. Score costs 80, 91, 10-2, 11-3, 12-4, 13-5, 14-7, 15-9. Assign ability scores. Once you've generated 6 scores, assign them to strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, keeping in mind your class's primary ability. Fill in the ability modifiers as well. If you're using the standard array option, consult the standard array by class table for suggestions on where to assign scores for your character's class. The table puts the highest scores in a class's main abilities. If you used a different method to generate the scores, you may still use this table to guide where you place your highest and lowest scores. Standard array by class. Class as Steel, Dex, Con, Int, Wise, Shy, Barbarian 1-5, 1-3, 1-4, 1-0, 1-2, 8, Bard 8, 1-4, 1-2, 1-3,
1-2,
1-0,
1-3,
1-5,
Bard 8,
Cleric
1-2.
1-4, 8, 1-3, 1-0, 1-5, 1-2, Druid 8, 1-2, 1-4, 1-3, 1-5,
Standard array by
1-0,
class. Ça, c'est
Fighter
smart.
1-5, 1-4,
Ça permet aux gens de
8,
facilement,
1-0, 1.
on va se dire, ça permet aux gens de facilement créer un personnage standard.
Paladin 1-5, 1-0, 1-3, 8, 1-2, 1-4. Ranger 1-2, 1-5, 1-3, 8, 1-4, 1-0. Rogue 1-2, 1-5, 1-3, 1-4, 1-0, 8. Sorcerer 1-0, 1-3, 1-4, 8, 1-2, 1-5. Warlock 8, 1-4, 1-3, 1-2, 1-0, 1-5. Wizard 8, 1-2, 1-3, 1-5, 1-4, 1-0. Adjust ability scores. After assigning your ability scores, adjust them according to your background. Your background lists 3 abilities. Increase one of those scores by 2 and a different one by 1, or increase all 3 by 1. None of these increases can raise a score above 20. Some players like to increase their class's primary ability, while others prefer to increase a low score. Backgrounds and species from older books. Backgrounds in older D&D books don't include ability score adjustments. If you're using a background from an older book, adjust your ability scores by increasing one score by 2 and a different one by 1, or increase 3 scores by 1. None of these increases can raise a score above 20. Similarly, species in older books include ability score increases. If you're using a species from an older book, ignore those increases and use only the ones given by your background. Also, if the background you choose doesn't provide a feat, you gain an origin feat of your choice. Determine ability modifiers. Finally, determine your ability modifiers using the ability scores and modifiers table. Write the modifier next to each of your scores. Ability scores and modifiers. Score modifier 3-4, 4, 5-3, 6, 7-2, 8, 9, 1, 10, 11 plus 0, 12, 13 plus 1, 14, 15 plus 2, 16, 17 plus 3, 18, 19 plus 4, 20 plus 5. Describe appearance and personality. Ability scores are an essential part of the rules, but they can be more than that. Once you've assigned your ability scores, give some thought to what those scores might say about your character's appearance and personality. A very strong character with low charisma might look and behave differently from a charismatic character with low strength. The following tables of descriptive words give suggestions of how you might describe your character based on having a high or low score in an ability. Note your character's appearance and personality on your character sheet. Rando Mackey. Raw table to VTT. Strength, 1 for high strength, low strength. 1 muscular weak. 2 sinewy slight. 3 protective self-conscious. 4 direct indirect. Raw table to VTT. Dexterity, 1 for high dexterity, low dexterity. 1 light jittery. 2 dynamic clumsy. 3 fidgety hesitant. 4 poised unsteady. Raw table to VTT. Constitution, 1 for high constitution, low constitution. 1 energetic frail. 2 hale squeamish. 3 hardy lethargic. 4 stable fragile. Raw table to VTT. Intelligence, 1 for high intelligence, low intelligence. 1 decisive artless. 2 logical illogical. 3 informative uninformed. 4 curious frivolous. Raw table to VTT. Wisdom, 1 for high wisdom, low wisdom. 1 serene rash. 2 considerate distracted. 3 attentive oblivious. 4 wary naive. Raw table to VTT. Charisma, 1 for high charisma, low charisma. 1 charming pedantic. 2 commanding humorless. 3 hilarious reserved. 4 inspiring tactless. Step 4. Choose an alignment. Choose your character's alignment from the options below and note it on your character sheet. D&D assumes that player characters aren't of an evil alignment. Check with your DM before making an evil character. The 9 alignments. A creature's alignment broadly describes its ethical attitudes and ideals. Alignment is a combination of 2 factors. One identifies morality good, evil, or neutral, and the other describes attitudes toward order lawful, chaotic, or neutral. The summaries of the alignments below describe the typical behavior of a creature with that alignment. Individuals can vary from that behavior. Chris Seaman, alignments might be visualized as a grid like this, along with creatures that embody those alignments. Lawful good LG. Lawful good creatures endeavor to do the right thing as expected by society. Someone who fights injustice and protects the innocent without hesitation is probably lawful good. Neutral good NG. Neutral good creatures do the best they can, working within rules but not feeling bound by them. A kindly person who helps others according to their needs is probably neutral good. Chaotic good CG. Chaotic good creatures act as their conscience directs with little regard for what others expect. A rebel who waylays a cruel barons, tax collectors, and uses the stolen money to help the poor is probably chaotic good. Lawful neutral LN. Lawful neutral individuals act in accordance with law, tradition, or personal codes. Someone who follows a disciplined rule of life and isn't swayed either by the demands of those in need or by the temptations of evil is probably lawful neutral. Neutral N. Neutral is the alignment of those who prefer to avoid moral questions and don't take sides, doing what seems best at the time. Someone who's bored by moral debate is probably neutral. Chaotic neutral CN. Chaotic neutral creatures follow their whims, valuing their personal freedom above all else. A scoundrel who wanders the land living by their wits is probably chaotic neutral. Lawful evil. Lawful evil creatures methodically take what they want within the limits of a code of tradition, loyalty, or order. An aristocrat exploiting citizens while scheming for power is probably lawful evil. Neutral evil any. Neutral evil is the alignment of those who are untroubled by the harm they cause as they pursue their desires. A criminal who robs and murders as they please is probably neutral evil. Chaotic evil C. Chaotic evil creatures act with arbitrary violence, spurred by their hatred or bloodlust. A villain pursuing schemes of vengeance and havoc is probably chaotic evil. Unaligned creatures. Most creatures that lack the capacity for rational thought don't have alignments. They are unaligned. Sharks are savage predators, for example, but they aren't evil. They are unaligned. Alignment and personality. Alignment can shape a character's personality, goals, and core beliefs. Looking at the 2 elements of an alignment, you can use the list below to inspire details of your character's personality. Personality traits by alignment. Alignment 1 for associated trait. Chaotic. 1 boastful. 2 impulsive. 3 rebellious. 4 self-absorbed. Good. 1 compassionate. 2 helpful. 3 honest. 4 kind. Evil. 1 dishonest. 2 vengeful. 3 cruel. 4 greedy. Lawful. 1 cooperative. 2 loyal. 3 judgmental. 4 methodical. Neutral. 1 selfish. 2 disinterested. 3 laconic. 4 pragmatic. Step 5. Fill in details. Now fill in the rest of your character sheet. Rank your class features. Look at your class's feature table in Chapter 3 and write down the Level 1 features. The class features are detailed in that same chapter. Some class features offer choices. Make sure to read all your features and make any offered choices. Fill in numbers. Note these numbers on your character sheet. Saving throws. For the saving throws you have proficiency in. Add your proficiency bonus to the appropriate ability modifier and note the total. Some players also like to note the modifier for saving throws they are not proficient in, which is just the relevant ability modifier. Skills. For skills you have proficiency in, add your proficiency bonus to the ability modifier associated with that skill, and note the total. You might also wish to note the modifier for skills you're not proficient in, which is just the relevant ability modifier. Passive perception. Sometimes your DM will determine whether your character notices something without asking you to make a wisdom perception check. The DM uses your passive perception instead. Passive perception is a score that reflects a general awareness of your surroundings when you're not actively looking for something. Use this formula to determine your passive perception score. Passive perception equals 10 plus wisdom perception check modifier. Include all modifiers that apply to your wisdom perception checks. For example, if your character has a wisdom of 15 and proficiency in the perception skill, you have a passive perception of 14, 10 plus 2 for your wisdom modifier plus 2 for proficiency. Hit points. Your class and constitution modifier determine your hit point maximum at level 1, as shown on the level 1 hit points by class table. Level 1 hit points by class. Class hit point maximum. Barbarian 12 plus con. Modifier. Fighter, paladin, or Ranger 10 plus con. Modified. Bard, Cleric, Druid, Monk, Rogue, or Warlock 8 plus con. Modified. Sorcerer or Wizard 6 plus con. Modified. The character sheet includes room to note your current hit points when you take damage, as well as any temporary hit points you might gain. There's also space to track death saving throws. Hit point dice. Your class's description tells you the die type of your character's hit point dice, or hit dice for short. Write this on your character sheet. At level 1, your character has 1 hit die. You can spend hit dice during a short rest to recover hit points. Your character sheet also includes space to note how many hit dice you've spent. Initiative. Write your dexterity modifier in the space for initiative on your character sheet. Armor class. Without armor or a shield, your base armor class is 10 plus your dexterity modifier. If your starting equipment includes armor or a shield or both, calculate your AC using the rules in Chapter 6. The class feature might give you a different way to calculate your AC. Attacks. In the weapons and damage cantrip section of the character sheet, write your starting weapons. The attack roll bonus for a weapon with which you have proficiency is one of the following unless a weapon's property says otherwise. Melee attack bonus equals strength modifier plus proficiency bonus. Range attack bonus equals dexterity modifier plus proficiency bonus. Look up the damage and properties of your weapons in Chapter 6. You add the same ability modifier you use for attacks with a weapon to your damage rolls with that weapon. Spellcasting. Note both the saving throw DC for your spells and the attack bonus for attacks you make with them using these formulas. Spell save DC equals 8 plus spellcasting ability modifier plus proficiency bonus. Spell attack bonus equals spellcasting ability modifier plus proficiency bonus. Your spellcasting ability modifier for a spell is determined by whatever feature gives you the ability to cast the spell. Spell slots, cantrips, and prepared spells. If your class gives you the spellcasting or pack magic feature, your class features table shows the number of spell slots you have available, how many cantrips you know, and how many spells you can prepare. Choose your cantrips and prepared spells, and note them, along with your number of spell slots, on your character sheet. Name your character. Choose a name for your character, and write it on your character sheet. The name can be whatever you like. Was it the name of an ancestor? Does it have religious or other significance? Is it a name you chose for yourself? Create final details. As you finish creating your character, consider whether you'd like to make up any other details about the character. Here are the sorts of things you might ask yourself as the character. What's your gender? What person or people do you care most about? What's your deepest fear? On your adventures, will you seek knowledge, wealth, glory, enlightenment, justice, mercy, power, or something else? Level advancement. Chris Seaman. Adventuring equipment improves as a character progresses through the tiers of play. While going on adventures, your character gains experience, represented by experience points XP. A character who reaches a specified experience point total advances in capability. This advancement is called gaining a level. The character advancement table lists the XP you need to advance to a level and the proficiency bonus for a character of that level. When your XP total equals or exceeds a number in the experience points column, you reach the corresponding level. Character advancement. Level experience points proficiency bonus. 10 plus 2. 300 plus 2. 900 plus 2. 2700 plus 2. 6500 plus 3. 10,000 plus 3. 23,000 plus 3. 34,000 plus 3. 48,000 plus 4. 64,000 plus 4. 85,000 plus 4. 100,000 plus 4. 120,000 plus 5. 140,000 plus 5. 165,000 plus 5. 195,000 plus 5. 225,000 plus 6. 265,000 plus 6. 305,000 plus 6. 355,000 plus 6. Gaining a level. When you gain a level, follow these steps. Choose a class. Most characters advance in the same class. However, you might decide to gain a level in another class using the rules in the multi-classing section later in this chapter. Adjust hit points and hit point dice. Each time you gain a level, you gain an additional hit die. Roll that die. Add your constitution modifier to the roll, and add the total minimum of 1 to your hit point maximum. Instead of rolling, you can use the fixed values shown in the fixed hit points by class table. Fixed hit points by class. Class hit points per level. Barbarian 7 plus con. Modifier, Fighter, Paladin, or Ranger 6 plus con. Modifier, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Monk, Rogue, or Warlock 5 plus con. Modified. Sorcerer or Wizard 4 plus kind. Modified. Record new class features. Look at your class features table in Chapter 3 and note the features you gain at your new level in that class. Make any choices offered by a new feature. Adjust proficiency bonus. A character's proficiency bonus increases at certain levels, as shown in the character advancement table in your class features table in Chapter 3. When your proficiency bonus increases, increase all the numbers on your character sheet that include your proficiency bonus. Adjust ability modifiers. If you choose a feat that increases one or more of your ability scores, your ability modifier also changes if the new score is an even number. When that happens, adjust all the numbers on your character sheet that use that ability modifier. When your constitution modifier increases by 1, your hit point maximum increases by 1 for each level you have attained. For example, if a character reaches level 8 and increases their constitution score from 17 to 18, the constitution modifier increases to +4. The character's hit point maximum then increases by 8, in addition to the hit points gained for reaching level 8. Tiers of play. With each new level, characters acquire new capabilities that equip them to handle greater challenges. As characters advance in level, the tone of the game also changes, and the stakes of the campaign get higher. It's helpful to think of a character's in a campaign's arc in terms of 4 tiers of play, describing the journey from a level 1 character just beginning an adventuring career to the epic heights of level 20. These tiers don't have any rules associated with them. They point to the fact that the play experience evolves as characters gain levels. Tier 1 levels 1, 4. In Tier 1, characters are apprentice adventurers, though they are already set apart from the broader populace by virtue of their extraordinary abilities. They learn their starting class features and choose a subclass. The threats they face usually pose a danger to local farmsteads or villages. Tier 2 levels 5, 10. In Tier 2, characters are full-fledged adventurers. Spellcasters gain iconic spells such as Fireball, Lightning Bolt, and Raise Dead. Most weapon-focused classes gain the ability to make multiple attacks in a round. The characters now face dangers that threaten cities and kingdoms. Tier 3 levels 11, 16. In Tier 3, characters have reached a level of power that makes them special among adventurers. At level 11, many spellcasters learn reality-altering spells. Other characters gain features that allow them to make more attacks or to do more impressive things with those attacks. These adventurers often confront threats to whole regions. Tier 4 levels 17, 20. At Tier 4, characters achieve the pinnacle of their class features, becoming heroic archetypes. The fate of the world or even the order of the multiverse might hang in the balance during their adventures. Bonus feats at level 20. A DM can use feats as a form of advancement after characters reach level 20 to provide greater power to characters who have no more levels to gain. With this approach, each character gains 1 feat of their choice for every 30,000 XP the character earns above 355,000 XP. Epic boom feats are especially appropriate for these bonus feats, but a player can choose any feat for which their level 20 character qualifies. Starting at higher levels, your DM might start your group's characters at a level higher than 1. It is particularly recommended to start at level 3 if your group is composed of seasoned D&D players. Creating your character. Creating a higher level character uses the same character creation steps outlined in this chapter and the rules for advancing beyond level 1 provided in the level advancement section. You begin with the minimum amount of XP required to reach your starting level. For example, if the DM starts you at level 10, you have 64,000 XP. Starting equipment. The DM decides whether your character starts with more than the standard equipment for a level 1 character, possibly even 1 or more magic items. The starting equipment at higher levels table is a guide for the DM. Also, check with your DM about what equipment is available for you to buy with your starting money. For example, the firearms described in Chapter 6 are too expensive for level 1 characters, but they might be available for purchase if your DM allows them. Starting equipment at higher levels. Starting level equipment and money magic items. 2. 4 normal starting equipment 1 common. 5. 10 500 GP plus 1 on 0 times 25 GP plus normal starting equipment 1 common, 1 uncommon. 11. 16 5000 GP plus 1 on 0 times 250 GP plus normal starting equipment 2 common, 3 uncommon, 1 rare. 17. 20,000 GP plus 1 on 0 times 250 GP plus normal starting equipment 2 common, 4 uncommon, 3 rare, 1 very rare. Multiclassing. Multiclassing allows you to gain levels in multiple classes. With this rule, you have the option of gaining a level in a new class whenever you advance in level instead of gaining a level in your current class. Doing so lets you mix the abilities of those classes to realize a character concept that might not be reflected in a single class. Prerequisites. To qualify for a new class, you must have a score of at least 13 in the primary ability of the new class in your current classes. For example, a barbarian who decides to multi-class into the druid class must have strength and wisdom scores of 13 or higher. Since strength is the primary ability for barbarians and wisdom is the primary ability for druids. Experience points. The experience point cost to gain a level is based on your total character level, not your level in a particular class, as shown in the character advancement table in this chapter. For example, if you are a level 6 cleric / level 1 fighter, you must gain enough XP to reach level 8 before you can take your second level as a fighter or your 7th level as a cleric. Hit points and hit point dice. You gain the hit points from your new class as described for levels after 1. You gain the level 1 hit points for a class only when your total character level is 1. Add together the hit dice granted by all your classes to form your pool of hit dice. If these dice are the same die type, you can pool them together. For example, both the fighter and the paladin have a d10 hit die. So if you are a level 5 fighter / level 5 paladin, you have 10 d10 hit dice. If your classes give you hit dice of different types, track them separately. If you are a level 5 cleric / level 5 paladin, for example, you have 5 date hit dice and 5 d10 hit dice. Proficiency bonus. Your proficiency bonus is based on your total character level, not your level in a particular class, as shown in the character advancement table. For example, if you are a level 3 fighter / level 2 rogue, you have the proficiency bonus of a level 5 character, which is +3. Proficiencies. When you gain your first level in a class other than your initial class, you gain only some of the new class's starting proficiencies, as detailed in each class's description in Chapter 3, Class Features. When you gain a new level in a class, you get its features for that level. A few features have additional rules when you're multi-classing. Check the information about multi-classing included in each of your class's descriptions. Special rules apply to extra attack, spellcasting, and features such as unarmored defense that give you alternative ways to calculate your armor class. Armor class. If you have multiple ways to calculate your armor class, you can benefit from only one at a time. For example, a monk / sorcerer with a monk's unarmored defense feature and a sorcerer's draconic resilience feature must choose only one of those features as a way to calculate armor class. Extra attack. If you gain the extra attack feature from more than one class, the features don't stack. You can't make more than 2 attacks with this feature unless you have a feature that says you can, such as the fighter's 2 extra attacks feature. Similarly, the warlock's thirsting blade invocation, which grants you the extra attack feature with your packed weapon, doesn't give you additional attacks if you also have extra attack. Spellcasting. Your capacity for spellcasting depends partly on your combined levels in all your spellcasting classes and partly on your individual levels in those classes. Once you have the spellcasting feature from more than one class, use the rules below. If you multi-class but have the spellcasting feature from only one class, follow the rules for that class. Multi-class spellcaster. Spell slots per spell level. Level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 2, 4, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 6, 4, 3, 3, 7, 4, 3, 3, 1, 8, 4, 3, 3, 2, 9, 4, 3, 3, 3, 1, 10, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 11, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 12, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 13, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 14, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 15, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 16, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 17, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 18, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 19, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 24, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. Spells prepare. You determine what spells you can prepare for each class individually, as if you were a single class member of that class. If you are a level 4 ranger / level 3 sorcerer, for example, you can prepare 5 level 1 ranger spells, and you can prepare 6 sorcerer spells of level 1 or 2 as well as 4 sorcerer cantrips. Each spell you prepare is associated with one of your classes, and you use the spellcasting ability of that class when you cast the spell. Chris Seaman, a character with paladin and warlock levels, might call on both a mighty oath and an otherworldly patron. Cantrips. If a cantrip of yours increases in power at higher levels, the increase is based on your total character level, not your level in a particular class, unless the spell says otherwise. Spell slots. You determine your available spell slots by adding together the following: all your levels in the bard, cleric, druid, sorcerer, and wizard classes, half your levels round up in the paladin, and ranger classes 1/3 of your fighter or rogue levels round down if you have the eldritch knight or arcane trickster subclass. Then look up this total level in the level column of the multi-class spellcaster table. You use the slots for that level to cast spells of an appropriate level from any class whose spellcasting feature you have. This table might give you spell slots of a higher level than the spells you prepare. You can use those slots, but only to cast your lower level spells. If a lower level spell that you cast, like Burning Hands, has an enhanced effect when cast at a higher level, you can use the enhanced effect as normal. For example, if you are a level 4 ranger / level 3 sorcerer, you count as a level 5 character when determining your spell slots, counting all your levels as a sorcerer and half your ranger levels. As shown in the multi-class spellcaster table, you have 4 level 1 spell slots, 3 level 2 slots, and 2 level 3 slots. However, you can't prepare any level 3 spells, nor can you prepare any level 2 ranger spells. You can use the spell slots of those levels to cast the spells you do prepare, and potentially enhance their effects. Pack Magic. If you have the Pack Magic feature from the Warlock class and the spellcasting feature, you can use the spell slots you gain from Pack Magic to cast spells you have prepared from classes with the spellcasting feature, and you can use the spell slots you gain from the spellcasting feature to cast Warlock spells you have prepared. Trinkets. When you make your character, you can roll once on the trinkets table to gain a tiny trinket, a simple item lightly touched by mystery. The DM might also use this table. It can help stock a room in a dungeon or fill a creature's pockets. Couple of books. Roll table to VTT. Trinkets. 1000 trinket. 1 a mummified goblin hand. 2 a crystal that faintly glows in moonlight. 3 a gold coin minted in an unknown land. 4 a diary written in a language you don't know. 5 a brass ring that never tarnishes. 6 an old chess piece made from glass. 7 a pair of knucklebone dice, each with a skull symbol on the side that would normally show 6 pips. 8 a small idol depicting a nightmarish creature that gives you unsettling dreams when you sleep near it. 9 a lock of someone's hair. 10 a deed for a parcel of land in a realm unknown to you. 11 a 1-ounce block made from an unknown material. 12 a small cloth doll skewered with needles. 13 a tooth from an unknown beast. 14 an enormous scale, perhaps from a dragon. 15 a bright green feather. 16 an old divination card bearing your likeness. 17 a glass orb filled with moving smoke. 18 a 1-pound egg with a bright red shell. 19 a pipe that blows bubbles. 20 a glass jar containing a bit of flesh floating in pickling fluid. 21 a gnome crafted music box that plays a song you dimly remember from your childhood. 22 a wooden statuette of a smug halfling. 23 a brass orb etched with strange runes. 24 a multicolored stone disc. 25 a silver icon of a raven. 26 a bag containing 47 teeth, one of which is rotten. 27 a shard of obsidian that always feels warm to the touch. 28 a dragon's talon strung on a leather necklace. 29 a pair of old socks. 30 a blank book whose pages refuse to hold ink, chalk, graphite, or any other marking. 31 a silver badge that is a 5-pointed star. 32 a knife that belonged to a relative. 33 a glass vial filled with nail clippings. 34 a rectangular metal device with 2 tiny metal cups on one end that throws sparks when wet. 35 a white, sequin glove size for a human. 36 a vest with 100 tiny pockets.
Bon, ben, ça va être ça pour ce soir. On a fait le tour. On s'est rendu au chapitre 2. Je l'ai magané, je suis fatigué, vous m'excuserez. Je n'ai pas mon visage présentement en ligne, mais je peux continuer au chapitre 3. En fait, si ça vous intéresse. On est quand même un petit gang de lions ce soir. Donc, on peut certainement continuer. Étant donné qu'il y a du monde. Donc, Serenaded by the sweet sound of Snoop Dogg's voice. On va regarder tout ça ensemble. Je vais être bien curieux de voir comment tout ça se fait. Après moi, on va peut-être pas finir à soir. Là. Il y a quand même quelques heures de matériel ici. Là. 2 heures de matériel, ça fait juste plus calculer. C'est quand même amusant. Et on part le bal.
Andrea Pipero, the hero's merchant. Oliver, Strongheart, and Ringo Run protect a portal to another plane from diabolical invaders. Character class provides a character's most exciting capabilities. This chapter offers 12 classes, each of which contains 4 subclasses, all summarized below. Barbarian,
Salut,
storm with
maman.
rage, and wade into hand-to-hand combat. Then follow the path of Berserker to unleash raw violence, Wild Heart to manifest kinship with animals, World Tree to tap into cosmic vitality, Zealot to rage in union with the god, Bard, perform spells that inspire and heal allies or beguile foes. Then join the College of Dance to harness agility in battle, Glamour to weave beguiling fabled magic, Lore to collect knowledge and magical secrets, Valor to wield Valor to wield weapons with spells. Cleric, invoke divine magic to
Je
heal,
vais juste
bolster,
lire
and smite. Then harness
la nouvelle
Light
version
Domain
de
to
Donjons
be
et
a
Dragons.
master of healing. Light Domain to wield searing, warding light. Trickery Domain to bedevil foes with mischief. War Domain to inspire valor and chastise foes. Druid, channel nature magic to heal, shape shift, and control the elements. Then join the circle of the land to draw on the magic of the environment. Moon to adopt powerful animal forms. Sea to channel tides and storms. Stars to gain powers in a starry form. Fighter, master all weapons and armor. Then embody the battle master to use special combat maneuvers. Champion to strive for peak combat prowess. Eldritch Knight to learn spells to aid in combat. Psy Warrior to augment attacks with sonic power. Monk, dart in and out of melee while striking fast and hard. Then become a warrior of mercy to heal or harm with a touch. Shadow to employ shadows for subterfuge. The elements to wield elemental power. The open hand to master unarmed combat. Paladin, smite foes and shield allies with divine and martial might. Then swear the oath of devotion to emulate the angels of justice. Glory to reach the heights of heroism. The ancients to preserve life, joy, and nature. Vengeance to hunt down evildoers. Ranger, weave together martial prowess, nature magic, and survival skills. Then embody the beast master to bond with the primal beast. Fey wanderer to manifest fey mirth and fury. Gloom stalker to hunt foes that lurk in darkness. Hunter to protect nature with martial versatility. Rogue, launch deadly sneak attacks while avoiding harm through stealth. Then embody the arcane trickster to enhance stealth with spells. Assassin to deliver ambushes and poison. Soul knife to strike foes with side blades. Thief to master infiltration and treasure hunting. Sorcerer, wield magic innate to your being, shaping the power to your will. Then channel, aberrant sorcery to use strange sonic magic. Clockwork sorcery to harness cosmic forces of order. Draconic sorcery to breathe the magic of dragons. Wild magic to unleash chaos magic. Warlock, cast spells derived from occult knowledge. Then form a pact with the Archfey patron to teleport and wield fey magic. Celestial patron to heal with heavenly magic. Fiend patron to call on sinister powers. Great Old One patron to delve into forbidden lore. Wizard, study arcane magic and master spells for every purpose. Then embody the Adjurer to shield allies and banish foes. Diviner to learn the multiverse's secrets. Evoker to create explosive effects. Illusionist to weave spells of deception. Barbarian, Demon Rook, a fierce warrior of primal rage. Core barbarian traits. Primary ability strength. Hit point die D12 per barbarian level. Saving throw proficiency strength and constitution. Skill proficiencies choose 2. Animal handling, athletics, intimidation, nature, perception, or survival. Weapon proficiency simple and martial weapons. Armor training light and medium armor and shields. Starting equipment chooser or B. A great axe, 4 hand axes, explorer's pack, and 15 GP, or B 75 GP. Barbarians are mighty warriors who are powered by primal forces of the multiverse that manifest as a rage. More than a mere emotion, and not limited to anger. This rage is an incarnation of a predator's ferocity, a storm's fury, and a sea's turmoil. Some barbarians personify their rage as a fierce spirit or revered forebear. Others see it as a connection to the pain and anguish of the world, as an impersonal tangle of wild magic, or as an expression of their own deepest self. For every barbarian, their rage is a power that fuels not just battle prowess, but also uncanny reflexes and heightened senses. Barbarians often serve as protectors and leaders in their communities. They charge headlong into danger so those under their protection don't have to. Their courage in the face of danger makes barbarians perfectly suited for adventure. Becoming a barbarian as a level 1 character. Gain all the traits in the core barbarian traits table. Gain the barbarian's level 1 features, which are listed in the barbarian features table as a multi-class character. Gain the following traits from the core barbarian traits table. hit point die, proficiency with martial weapons, and training with shields. Gain the Barbarian's level 1 features, which are listed in the Barbarian Features table. Barbarian class features. As a Barbarian, you gain the following class features when you reach the specified Barbarian levels.
Les
These
mêmes endroits
features
que
are listed in the
d'habitude, cher ami.
Barbarian Features table. Barbarian features.
Tu peux regarder
Level
sur
proficiency bonus
Roll20
class features rages
ou
rage
des
damage weapon
sites
mastery. 1 plus 2
qui
rage.
chargent pour
Unarmored
le
defense.
service.
Weapon mastery 2 plus 2 2.
Sinon,
2 plus
le
2
groupe
danger sense.
Facebook.
Reckless attack 2 plus 2 2. 3 plus 2 barbarian subclass. Primal knowledge 3 plus 2 2. 4 plus 2 ability score improvement 3 plus 2 3. 5 plus 3 extra attack. Fast movement 3 plus 2 3. 6 plus 3 subclass feature 4 plus 2 3. 7 plus 3 feral instinct. Instinctive pounce 4 plus 2 3. 8 plus 3 ability score improvement 4 plus 2 3. 9 plus 4 brutal strike 4 plus 3 3. 10 plus 4 subclass feature 4 plus 3 4. 11 plus 4 relentless rage 4 plus 3 4. 12 plus 4 ability score improvement 5 plus 3 4. 13 plus 5 improved brutal strike 5 plus 3 4. 14 plus 5 subclass feature 5 plus 3 4. 15 plus 5 persistent rage 5 plus 3 4. 16 plus 5 ability score improvement 5 plus 4 4. 17 plus 6 improved brutal strike 6 plus 4 4. 18 plus 6 indomitable might 6 plus 4 4. 19 plus 6 epic boon 6 plus 4 4. 20 plus 6 primal champion 6 plus 4 4. Level 1 rage. You can imbue yourself with a primal power called rage, a force that grants you extraordinary might and resilience. You can enter it as a bonus action if you aren't wearing heavy armor. You can enter your rage the number of times shown for your barbarian level in the rages column of the barbarian features table. You regain 1 expended use when you finish a short rest, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. While active, your rage follows the rules below. Damage resistance. You have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. Rage damage. When you make an attack using strength, with either a weapon or an unarmed strike, and deal damage to the target, you gain a bonus to the damage that increases as you gain levels as a barbarian, as shown in the rage damage column of the barbarian features table. Strength advantage. You have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. No concentration or spells. You can't maintain concentration, and you can't cast spells. Duration. The rage lasts until the end of your next turn, and it ends early if you don heavy armor or have the incapacitated condition. If your rage is still active on your next turn, you can extend the rage for another round by doing one of the following. Make an attack roll against an enemy. Force an enemy to make a saving throw. Take a bonus action to extend your rage. Each time the rage is extended, it lasts until the end of your next turn. You can maintain a rage for up to 10 minutes. Level 1. Unarmored defense. While you aren't wearing any armor, your base armor class equals 10 plus your dexterity and constitution modifiers. You can use a shield and still gain this benefit. Wayne England. Level 1. Weapon mastery. Your training with weapons allows you to use the mastery properties of 2 kinds of simple or martial melee weapons of your choice, such as great axes and hand axes. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can practice weapon drills and change one of those weapon choices. When you reach certain barbarian levels, you gain the ability to use the mastery properties of more kinds of weapons, as shown in the weapon mastery column of the barbarian features table. Level 2. Danger sense. You gain an uncanny sense of when things aren't as they should be, giving you an edge when you dodge perils. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws unless you have the incapacitated condition. Level 2. Reckless attack. You can throw aside all concern for defense to attack with increased ferocity. When you make your first attack roll on your turn, you can decide to attack recklessly. Doing so gives you advantage on attack rolls using strength until the start of your next turn, but attack rolls against you have advantage during that time. Level 3. Barbarian subclass. You gain a barbarian subclass of your choice. The Path of the Berserker, Path of the Wild Horde, Path of the World Tree, and Path of the Zealot subclasses are detailed after this class's description. A subclass is a specialization that grants you features at certain barbarian levels. For the rest of your career, you gain each of your subclasses features that are of your barbarian level or lower. Level 3. Primal knowledge. You gain proficiency in another skill of your choice from the skill list available to barbarians at level 1. In addition, while your rage is active, you can channel primal power when you
Seulement la
attempt certain
lecture
tasks.
du nouveau
Whenever you make an
guide
ability check using one of
pour
the
essayer
following
d'en
skills,
assimiler une
you can make
partie
it
et
as
de
a
la
strength check
maîtriser.
even if it normally uses a different ability. Acrobatics, intimidation, perception, stealth, or survival. When you use this ability, your strength represents primal power coursing through you, honing your agility, bearing, and senses. Level 4, Ability Score Improvement. You gain the Ability Score Improvement feat, see Chapter 5, or another feat of your choice for which you qualify. You gain this feature again at Barbarian levels 8, 12, and 16. Level 5, Extra Attack. You can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. Level 5, Fast Movement. Your speed increases by 10 feet while you aren't wearing heavy armor. Level 7, Feral Instinct. Your instincts are so honed that you have advantage on initiative rolls. Level 7, Instinctive Pounce. As part of the bonus action you take to enter your rage, you can move up to half your speed. Level 9, Brutal Strike. If you use Reckless Attack, you can forego any advantage on one strength-based attack roll of your choice on your turn. The chosen attack roll mustn't have disadvantage. If the chosen attack roll hits, the target takes an extra 1d0 damage of the same type dealt by the weapon or unarmed strike, and you can cause one brutal strike effect of your choice. You have the following effect options. Forceful Blow. The target is pushed 15 feet straight away from you. You can then move up to half your speed straight toward the target without provoking opportunity attacks. Hamstring Blow. The target's speed is reduced by 15 feet until the start of your next turn. A target can be affected by only one hamstring blow at a time. The most recent one. Level 11, Relentless Rage. Your rage can keep you fighting despite grievous wounds. If you drop to 0 hit points while your rage is active and don't die outright, you can make a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. If you succeed, your hit points instead change to a number equal to twice your barbarian level. Each time you use this feature after the first, the DC increases by 5. When you finish a short or long rest, the DC resets to 10. Level 13, Improved Brutal Strike. You have whole new ways to attack furiously. The following effects are now among your brutal strike options. Staggering Blow. The target has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes, and it can't make opportunity attacks until the start of your next turn. Sundering Blow. Before the start of your next turn, the next attack roll made by another creature against the target gains a +5 bonus to the roll. An attack roll can gain only one Sundering Blow bonus. Level 15, Persistent Rage. When you roll initiative, you can regain all expended uses of rage. After you regain uses of rage in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. In addition, your rage is so fierce that it now lasts for 10 minutes without you needing to do anything to extend it from round to round. Your rage ends early if you have the unconscious condition, not just the incapacitated condition, or don heavy armor. Level 17, Improved Brutal Strike. The extra damage of your brutal strike increases to 210. In addition, you can use 2 different brutal strike effects whenever you use your brutal strike feature. Level 18.
Ça, c'est quand même nice.
If your
Les
total for a
options,
strength
là,
check or strength saving throw is less
les
than your
options
strength
de
score,
genre-là,
you can use that score
j'en
in
entends
place of the
parler,
total.
puis
Level
effectivement, c'est
19.
quand même cool.
Epic Boon. You gain an Epic Boon feat, see Chapter 5, or another feat of your choice for which you qualify. Boon of Irresistible Offense is recommended. Level 20. Primal Champion. You embody primal power. Your strength and constitution scores increase by 4 to a maximum of 25. Barbarian Subclasses. A Barbarian subclass is a specialization that grants you features at certain levels, as specified in the subclass. This section presents the Path of the Berserker, Path of the Wild Horde, Path of the World Tree, and Path of the Zealot subclasses. Path of the Berserker. Nathaniel Hemmerwin, Path of the Berserker subclass. Channel rage into violent fury. Barbarians who walk the path of the Berserker direct their rage primarily toward violence. Their path is one of untrammeled fury, and they thrill in the chaos of battle as they allow their rage to seize and empower them. Level 3, Frenzy. If you use Reckless Attack while your rage is active, you deal extra damage to the first target you hit on your turn with a strength-based attack. To determine the extra damage, roll a number of d6 equal to your rage damage bonus, and add them together. The damage has the same type as the weapon or unarmed strike used for the attack. Level 6, Mindless Rage. You have immunity to the charmed and frightened conditions while your rage is active.
C'est beaucoup plus
If you're
violent
charmed or
aussi.
frightened when you enter your rage,
Je suis pas sûr
the
que j'aime
condition
ça.
ends on you.
Mais on
Level
va voir.
10, Retaliation. When you take damage from a creature that is within 5 feet of you, you can take a reaction to make one melee attack against that creature using a weapon or an unarmed strike. Level 14, Intimidating Presence. As a bonus action, you can strike terror into others with your menacing presence and primal power. When you do so, each creature of your choice in a 30-foot emanation originating from you must make a wisdom saving throw DC 8 plus your strength modifier and proficiency bonus. On a failed save, A creature has the frightened condition for 1 minute. At the end of each of the frightened creature's turns, the creature repeats the save, ending the effect on itself on a success. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest unless you expend the use of your rage. No action required to restore your use of it. Path of the Wild Horde. Walk in community with the animal world. Barbarians who follow the path of the Wild Horde view themselves as kin to animals. These barbarians learn magical means to communicate with animals, and their rage heightens their connection to animals as it fills them with supernatural might. All dip aside the path of the Wild Horde subclass. Level 3. Animal Speaker. You can cast the Beast Sense and speak with animal spells, but only as rituals. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for them. Level 3. Rage of the Wilds. Your rage taps into the primal power of animals. Whenever you activate your rage, you gain one of the following options of your choice. Bear. While your rage is active, you have resistance to every damage type
Ça
except
aussi, je trouve ça cool.
necrotic,
Ça fait plus...
radiant, eagle. When you activate
Ça fait plus un totémique chaman, genre, un barbare chamanique. Puis ça fait du sens, genre. Parce que t'es pas toujours pogné avec le même beast, tu peux alterner.
your rage, you can take the disengage and dash actions as part of that bonus action. While your rage is active, you can take a bonus action to take both of those actions. Wolf. While your rage is active, your allies have advantage on attack rolls against any enemy of yours within 5 feet of you. Level 6. Aspect of the Wilds. You gain one of the following options of your choice. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can change your choice. Owl. You have dark vision with a range of 60 feet. If you already have dark vision, its range increases by 60 feet. Panther. You have a climb speed equal to your speed. Salmon. You have a swim speed equal to your speed. Level 10. Nature Speaker. You can cast a commune with nature's spell, but only as a ritual. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability for it. Level 14. Power of the Wilds. Whenever you activate your rage, you gain one of the following options of your choice. Falcon. While your rage is active, you have a fly speed equal to your speed if you aren't wearing any armor. Lion. While your rage is active, any of your enemies within 5 feet of you have disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you or another barbarian who has this option active. Ram. While your rage is active, you can cause a large or smaller creature to have the prone condition when you hit it with a melee attack. Path of the World Tree. Marcella Madero's Path of the World Tree subclass. Trace the roots and branches of the multiverse. Barbarians who follow the path of the World Tree connect with the cosmic tree Yggdrasil through their rage. This tree grows among the outer planes, connecting them to each other and the material plane. These barbarians draw on the tree's magic for vitality and as a means of dimensional travel. Level 3. Vitality of the Tree. Your rage taps into the life force of the World Tree. You gain the following benefits. Vitality Surge. When you activate your rage, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your barbarian level. Life-giving Force. At the start of each of your turns while your rage is active, you can choose another creature within 10 feet of yourself to gain temporary hit points. To determine the number of temporary hit points, roll a number of d6 equal to your rage damage bonus and add them together. If any of these temporary hit points remain when your rage ends, they vanish. Level 6. Branches of the Tree. Whenever a creature you can see starts its turn within 30 feet of you while your rage is active, you can take a reaction to summon spectral branches of the World Tree around it. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw DC 8 plus your strength modifier and proficiency bonus, or be teleported to an unoccupied space you can see within 5 feet of yourself or in the nearest unoccupied space you can see. After the target teleports, you can reduce its speed to 0 until the end of the current turn. Level 10.
Je pense que j'aurais
Battering
préféré
Boots. During your turn, your reach is 10
quelque
feet greater
chose
with any melee
qui
weapon that
aurait
has
fait
the
en
heavy or
sorte
versatile.
que tu peux infecter quelqu'un d'autre avec ta rage. Parce qu'ici, tu peux comme guérir une autre personne avec ta rage. Puis on voit souvent plus le move ou l'habilité de pouvoir infecter les autres avec notre rage. Ça serait beaucoup plus intéressant, je pense, que Branch of the Tree. C'est la seule chose que je changerais dans les habilités de spécifiquement cette sous-classe-là. Là. Personnellement.
Top property. As tendrils of the World Tree extend from you, when you hit with such a weapon on your turn, you can activate the push or topple mastery property in addition to a different mastery property you're using with that weapon. Level 14. Travel along the tree. When you activate your rage and as a bonus action while your rage is active, you can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. In addition, once per rage, you can increase the range of that teleport to 150 feet. When you do so, You can also bring up to 6 willing creatures who are within 10 feet of you. Each creature teleports to an unoccupied space of your choice within 10 feet of your destination space. Path of the Zealot. Rage and ecstatic union with a god. Barbarians who walk the path of the Zealot receive boons from a god or pantheon. These barbarians experience their rage as an ecstatic episode of divine union that infuses them with power. They are often allies to the priests and other followers of their god or pantheon. Ignatius Beauty Path of the Zealot subclass. Level 3. Divine Fury. You can channel divine power into your strikes on each of your turns while your rage is active. The first creature you hit with a weapon or an unarmed strike takes extra damage equal to 1/6 plus half your barbarian level round down. The extra damage is necrotic or radiant. You choose the type each time you deal the damage. Level 3. Warrior of the Gods. A divine entity helps ensure you can continue the fight. You have a pool of 4 D12s that you can spend to heal yourself. As a bonus action, you can expend dice from the pool, roll them, and regain a number of hit points equal to the rolls total.
J'espère que les paladins ont quoi de bon
all
parce
expended
que
dice when you finish a long rest. The pool's maximum number of dice increases by 1 when you reach barbarian level 6/5 dice, 12/6 dice, and 17/7 dice. Level 6, fanatical focus. Once per active rage, if you fail a saving throw, you can reroll it with a bonus equal to your rage damage bonus, and you must use the new roll. Level 10, zealous presence. As a bonus action, you unleash a battle cry infused with divine energy. Up to 10 other creatures of your choice within 60 feet of you gain advantage on attack rolls and saving throws until the start of your next turn. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest unless you expend the use of your rage. No action required to restore your use of it. Level 14, Rage of the Gods. When you activate your rage, you can assume the form of a divine warrior. This form lasts for 1 minute or until you drop to 0 hit points. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. While in this form, you gain the benefits below. Flight. You have a fly speed equal to your speed and can hover. Resistance. You have resistance to necrotic, psychic, and radiant damage. Revivification. When a creature within 30 feet of you would drop to 0 hit points, you can take a reaction to expend the use of your rage to instead change the target's hit points to a number equal to your barbarian level. Or, Evan Far.
Le barbare est OP. Genre beaucoup trop puissant. Bon, ben, c'est ça pour asseoir, les amis, les tourtereaux. Je vais quitter. Puis on va reprendre ça demain dans les 2 mains. Puis c'est ça qui est ça. C'était de passer sur les chaînes. Au plaisir de se revoir une autre journée.